Hey, peace and blessings. Shalom. Shalom, shalom. Anybody awake? Anybody awake? Ooh, it's 3:20 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast. The question is anyone awake? Do y'all see that? Y'all could probably, maybe you can't actually see that from here. But gasoline right now is where I'm at is $2.50 a gallon. You know what's weird? When they had this whole C-19 thing that was going on, gas was under $2. If there was two things that was actually positive that came out of that, if that's even possible, is that there was no traffic for me going to work, and gas was under $2 a gallon. Can't front. That was not a bad thing. All right. With that being said, it's early in the morning. So let's wait for a few more people to get in here. See something? Yeah. Let's wait for a few more people to get in here. So let's go.
Something soulful to make you soulful. Let's go. I kind of like this right here. Yeah. Got me feeling some type of way. I told y'all it was musicians that brought me into the truth. Got me up here dancing in the booth. They say the truth shall set you free, give you liberty, trick me. With your lies, you must be kidding me. The end is almost here. Of this captivity, it's time to repent. They say the truth shall set you free, give you liberty, trick me. With your lies, you must be kidding me. The end is almost here. Of this captivity, it's time to repent. Now watch this. The blessings, the curses, the lesson, the purpose. When we break God's laws, His aggression just worsens. Don't do it. The kingdom, the promise, the greatness, the honors. I want to live to see the day when Satan's demolished. Now, one time for my sister on the soul track, showbiz, AG. Can I get a soul clap? Old man is dead, and I don't want to go back. 12 tribes of Israel, this is bigger than just pro-black. Some speak of peace, and some prophesy doom. Moral of the story is prepare for the bridegroom. He may come at night, he may come at high noon. Everything destroyed like winds from a typhoon, always on time. I said your house never late. Apply the precepts to life so you can elevate. It won't be long before our people's in a better state. And when we get to heaven, damn right we're gonna celebrate. And I ain't talking about a place that's invisible. Give us our kingdom on earth in the physical. Revelation 5 and 10, cause it's spiritual. Church is a scam, so be careful who you listen to and don't be so easily led. Sheep need to be fed. What's understood never needs to be said. So I teach on a corner, suited in my black boots, always stay humble and keep my movements grassroots. They say the truth shall set you free, give you liberty, trick me. With your lies, you must be kidding me. The end is almost here. Of this captivity, it's time to repent. They say the truth shall set you free, give you liberty, trick me. With your lies, you must be kidding me. The end is almost here. Of this captivity, it's time to repent. Now watch this. Laws and commandments discovered on fragments from the Dead Sea, hidden in caves. We're not physical slaves and heroes fulfilling our women and children.
Once again. Peace, blessings, and shalom to you late night or, depending on where you are, early morning people that's listening. Welcome to another edition of Maccabeestv. This is your brother, Priest Danyaahla, representing the Lions of Israel camp and the nation of Israel to others. Some of you guys call, why the hell are you awake? I know why I'm awake, unfortunately. But why are you awake? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. This is becoming a thing, I guess, right? So I don't be having intentions of doing these lives driving in, but I keep getting requests. You know, brothers have definitely hit me up on the inbox, on the comment boards, on this and that. Like, yo, just, you know, talk to us while you're driving in. I guess there are a few brothers that have my schedule or something close to it that have to also get up early. And I don't know if these conversations actually help you get through the morning or help you through your commute, whatever. I guess it does for some of y'all. You know, like, I didn't mean for this to become a thing. I've always done these. I've done these for years, but they're always, like, you know, few and far between. I haven't done this many drive-in conversations, like, ever. But, you know, because a few brothers have asked me to do them, I'll do them more. What I'm contemplating is starting up a whole channel just for that, you know? Not to say that I wouldn't do them on this channel too, but I'll do them more often, maybe every other day or something, if I come up with a whole channel. The problem with that is, I don't know if there's 1,000 people that's interested in me doing these driving shows. It's some of y'all, it's a handful, it's, you know, a couple of dozen, maybe 40, 50 people, but I don't know if it's 1,000 people that want me to just do that. And why I say 1,000 people, because the way the YouTube live works, when you're live streaming off your phone, you have to have 1,000 subscribers on that channel to be able to live stream, you know, using the YouTube app, right? So I would probably have to turn one of my other channels into that already has 1,000 subscribers. That's what I'm considering doing. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. We'll see how the spirit works. But that's possibly what I'm considering doing. If enough of y'all tell me that that's what you want me to do. You know, you guys can always leave a comment after this video goes live. You can leave a comment in the comment boards, whatever. Let me know that that's what you guys want me to do, and I'll see what I can do. Another option I have is to go live through the StreamYard app, right? But the way the StreamYard app works, it doesn't work like the cell phone where you could flip the camera. Like, I have the camera flip where you guys could actually see the road, right? If I use the StreamYard doesn't have an app, so you have to actually broadcast from their website. So the camera will be facing me, and at this time of the morning, you ain't even gonna be able to see me. It's gonna be just pitch black. You hear my voice, but you can't see me. It's pitch black. At least using the YouTube app, I could, you know, flip it. Y'all can look at the road, the winding roads into New York. Y'all can look at that, whatever. It's something to look at more so than just like a pitch black screen hearing my voice. So I don't know. You know, y'all tell me. Shout out to a few people. I'm not really looking at the chat to see if anybody's commenting. Out my peripheral, I don't really see nobody commenting, but shout out to whoever's listening. A couple of shout outs, man, to my brothers that have asked me to do this. You know, a brother by the name of Negro League, he was on the comments yesterday. He asked me to do this, so this live is dedicated to him. Of course, my man Tawab Aman from Israelite Saints of Christ, you know, he's been asking me to do these, so shout out to him. Shout out to my brother Reginald Judah, of course. That's my little bro. I don't even know if I'm older than a brother or not. I probably am. I'm older than everybody, right? Nah, let me stop. But shout out to that brother as well. You know, he also likes when I do these. And of course, I don't know if she's in the house. Mika, who works all night, she always, you know, she likes when I do these, and a few other people. Shout out to everybody. You know, I don't come before you guys with, you know, when the brother asked me to do it yesterday, I was like, dang, I only go live if I got something to talk about, right? If I ain't got nothing to talk about, if I don't have nothing pre-planned, a lot of times I don't go live. So y'all might just get me rambling this morning. I don't know. You know, I'm gonna move in the spirit. So don't expect nothing groundbreaking or anything like that. Y'all just gonna hear me like just talking. I'm doing it because y'all asked me to do it. I don't really have nothing profound this morning or whatever. You know, I ain't got nobody I gotta get on. No lecturing for me this morning, at least not yet, unless the spirit move me. You know. So just Monday morning conversation. So I guess what I can start off with is there are a few cities that are going on lockdown. Like Chicago's going back on lockdown today. They're asking everybody to stay home for 2 weeks except for essential workers. And if you leave your house, only go out for essential items. Right? So that's back. There's a few other cities. I know internationally, we see what's happening in England. We see what's happening in Australia. We see what's happening in Italy. And there were a few other countries which are slipping my mind. And I believe there's a few cities on lockdown besides Chicago. Like Newark, New Jersey, I know they're on not a full lockdown like they were before, but they're pretty close. Everything has to close by like 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. And the next step probably is another lockdown as well. They're saying the C-19 numbers are starting to spike again and everything. Hey, if you've been an avid watcher of this channel, if you've been listening to me for any amount of time, you ain't surprised, because you've been hearing me say this since freaking February, March, that this was going to happen, right? So through the spirit and power of the Most High, like I was telling brothers yesterday, we was right on point talking about this whole so-called second wave, which some of y'all been coming on the chat, you know, basically telling me that it's not a second wave because the first so-called wave never ended, which is true. And then some of y'all will come and say, well, it's not a second wave because there was never a first wave because it's not real. Regardless of the fact, I'm just using the terminology that the mainstream media is using. They're calling it a second wave or a spike in the numbers, et cetera, et cetera. We all know that the actual people that are in the hospital, that's in the emergency room, so forth and so on, is not matching to all these numbers that people that the media is saying. We know a lot of these people have pre-existing conditions. People are going in and you know, being marked down as COVID for having, you know, like respiratory problems and cardiovascular problems and things of that nature, and they're being listed as COVID. We already know how this whole thing works. And that Minister Enki said last night. Shout out to Minister Enki. If y'all didn't check out the show, I had him on last night. I liked something that he said, and I'd never really thought about it. If you missed the show, I'm going to repeat it. He was talking about how, you know, when the so-called first wave hit, you know, they invested a lot of money into it. Like, you had a lot of companies that were building these ventilators and invested money in a lot of the so-called medicines that treat COVID and so forth and so on. Plus, these hospitals were getting bonuses for having a certain amount of people that had the illness, and there was a lot of things that was going on. And so for all the companies that invested in building these ventilators and these different things, they got to get paid. They got to sell these ventilators. They got to sell them. And I never really thought about it like that. It's true, because at the end of the day, we know that pharmaceuticals really is a business. It's a business. Michael Moore, the dude Michael Moore that makes these documentaries, made a documentary years ago called Sicko, S-I-C-K-O. It's called Sicko. It's actually a good documentary. You guys can check it out. It might even be available for free here on YouTube. I don't know. It just came to my mind. But he made a documentary called Sicko, where he, you know, that whole documentary was basically really, really highlighting and illustrating how the pharmaceutical and medical industry is an industry first. It's a business first. And they're here to make you well last. That's like the last thing on their agenda. So, you know, these companies have all this money, these millions, hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars that is invested in this whole so-called pandemic, right? You know, and everything that goes along with it. So that money has to be recouped. So that's definitely contributing into this whole paranoia about there being what you would call a second wave of the coronavirus. And you know, when the brother said it, it resonated with me, because, you know, we talk about a lot of things, but I never really looked at it from that business aspect that he was talking about. And it's true, right? Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, but y'all doing good so far. If you're in the building, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, please, of course. So, you know, yeah, so it's a business first, as I was saying. So, they have to recoup their money. So that's one of the reasons, too, why you're hearing this whole thing about this second wave. Plus, remember, as we all know, there you have like about 3 or 4 companies that are investing in a vaccine. So they're pouring millions and millions of dollars into these vaccinations, family. Do you brothers and sisters think they don't plan on using it? They didn't spend that money for nothing. They plan on using that thing. They have to recoup their money. It's a business, right? And no, the vaccine is not, and I don't care for the people that called me a conspiracy theorist, whatever, like who cares about that? No, the vaccine is not being created to make you better, because then it's no longer business. If medicines made people better and really cured you from all ailments, a lot of these pharmaceutical companies wouldn't be multi-billion-dollar companies, and they'd go out of business. The pharmaceutical and medical industry is used to treat, to manage, maybe even to suppress certain illnesses. You take certain medicines, whatever, it'll treat it to a degree. It may suppress the symptoms to a degree, but it doesn't cure you. And a lot of times, when you watch these, we all watch these infomercials late at night where they talk about these new medicines that's coming on the market, and we all see that at the very end of the commercial, they give us a whole list of side effects that these medicines have. So you might take something for, let's say, not to be funny, but we're all adults here. Let's say you get up on some Viagra or Cialis and are taking something for, so-called ED, erectile dysfunction. Let's say you're taking something for that, right? Okay, you're taking something for ED, and you on those pills for years, right? And then after a while of taking those pills, you may develop cardiovascular problems, something with going wrong with your heart, because that's one of the side effects, right? So now you're able to perform in the bedroom with your wife, right? But you might wind up having a heart attack. Not to sound funny, but that's what the medical industry is, when really, and now I'm deviating, when really if you suffer from ED, you have a circulation problem. And let me explain something to you, brothers. I'm talking to, I'm not just talking to the brothers. I'm talking to everybody, you women too, because you have husbands, you have brothers, you have sisters, you have husbands, you have brothers, you have fathers, you have friends. So if there's any man in your life that you love, then what I'm about to say concerns you sisters too, right? So if a man is suffering from erectile dysfunction, what that is a circulation problem. Shout out to Master Herbalist Patrick Delves, who does an excellent breakdown on this several times on his YouTube page, as well as his group on Facebook. If you suffer from erectile dysfunction, that is a sign of circulation problems. You're having a problem with blood circulation. Why is that important? Because if you are having a problem with blood circulation, that's not just to your rod. I'm trying to find some good words here. It's not just to your rod. You're having circulation problems everywhere. It just so happens that when it comes to intimacy or sex, I'm just going to use the word, right? That's the first sign that you're having circulatory problems with your blood, because you cannot maintain an erection. That is an early warning sign. Erectile dysfunction is an early warning sign that you are having problems with circulation, which means to some degree you are at high risk of having a heart attack, because it's a circulation problem. You're not just having problems with circulation to your sex organ, you're also having circulation problems elsewhere, but it's manifest first in your sex organ because you can't maintain an erection. Enough blood is not being circulated there, but you're having that problem elsewhere as well, which goes back to why I said that brothers that end up on Cialis and Viagra and all these other medicines that the pharmaceutical industry is making billions of dollars off, the reason why they're telling you that may cause cardiovascular problems, the reason why is because the doctors know, yeah, you are at high risk for cardiovascular problem because that's a circulation problem. Get it? That's why it's one of the side effects. Because it's gonna, whatever that pill is doing is gonna cause you to be able to perform. It's gonna send the blood there, however it works. Don't ask me on the science of how that works. I don't know. But apparently those pills work. So the blood is circulating to that particular area, but not everywhere else properly. So you wind up being at high risk for that. So if you are a brother that is having problems with erectile dysfunction, you really have a circulation problem, right? Of course, first and foremost, you consult a medical professional, And that's one thing that we push. And we get that from Patrick. If you see Patrick, I'm deviating a little bit. If you, for those of y'all that want to see Patrick and tell me y'all want consultations with him, etc., the first thing that Patrick will tell me when I say that one of you guys want a consultation, he be like, he wants to see a medical report. He wants to see the numbers. If you're suffering from any illness, cancer, this, that, and the third, the first thing that he will ask you for is the numbers, which means, yes, you must consult a medical professional. No herbalist worth the paper that they got their certification on is going to prescribe or recommend any types of herbs or anything to you to treat whatever it is you're dealing with without first looking at your numbers. How are you going to prescribe something for somebody and you don't know what's going on with them? Because something that you may prescribe to somebody may react negatively with whatever's going on with them, and they wind up passing away. That has happened. There are cases where people consulted herbalists, right? Supposed so-called herbalists, and the herbalist will tell them to get up off that conventional medicine and get up on some herbs, and those people have passed away. That is not somebody that you want to consult. If you go somewhere to somebody and you sit with them and they tell you that, you might want to stop going to them, right? Most herbalists will tell you to continue on the medicines and eventually wean yourself off. You know, once you start taking the herbs and you start seeing results, then maybe you can wean yourself off. But you don't just jump off it, because you could kill yourself like that. Okay? Herbs are slow reacting. It takes you years. Whatever illness, whatever it is that you develop, it takes you years to develop it. So no, you're not gonna start drinking some daggone teas or some flushes or some, you know, cleanses or whatever like that, and you automatically gonna get better overnight. That's not the way it works. If it took you years to break whatever system down that you broke down, it's gonna take you years to rebuild it. So you have to be patient. See, conventional medicine will suppress your symptoms right away. It doesn't heal you. It'll suppress your symptoms right away, right? And sometimes you might have to take some conventional medicines if you can't deal with this, you know, whatever you're going through. If you can't deal with it, you might have to take some conventional medicine to kind of suppress the symptoms while you get up on those herbs and start doing the healing process, which entails a lot of things, including changing your diet, exercise, etc., etc. All those things work hand in hand in order for you to heal yourself, and it takes years to do, right? So I kind of deviated a little bit because I was talking about erectile dysfunction and the pharmaceutical industry and how they don't tell you that it's a circulation problem. If they do, somebody correct me in the chat. If you know anybody that had erectile dysfunction, if you suffer from it yourself, when you went to the doctor, did they tell you it was a circulation problem? Because I just know they will just give you some daggone Viagra or Cialis, when you need to start definitely taking stuff. Some of the things that you can take that are good for circulation, although there are many things, but some of the things that you need to get up on some ginger. No, not ginger pills. Stop going to the vitamin shop and buying the daggone pills and stuff like that and popping that. That ain't about nothing. You need to buy some raw ginger. Yes, it's bitter. Yes, it's hot, but it's good for circulation. You need to get up on some turmeric as well and other things. These things are good for circulation. All right? When we talk about taking herbs, brothers and sisters, try not to, definitely listen carefully to what I'm saying. When it comes to taking herbs, if you guys can stay away from the pills, that'll be good. The tablets, that'd be good, right? Now, some of the pills, like some of the pills that you see is like the herbs, that they dry the herbs out and they put it like in the, you know, like the capsule or whatever like that. The capsules are not so bad, although that's not really the raw herb. The first thing you want to do, you want to try to get the raw herb itself. That's the first thing you really want to do. If you can't find a particular herb that you're looking for in its raw form, then you could get the capsule. Sometimes Vitamin Shop and different places will have certain herbs in a capsule. But stay away from the pills. There's a difference between the pills and the capsules. Like for instance, some brothers and sisters, you take like the B vitamins, right? Sometimes some of you guys take B100, stuff like that. They sell B100 in them hard yellow capsules. No, excuse me, them hard yellow pills. You buy it from the Vitamin Shop or GNC, you open it up, it's a big, hard, yellow pill. And you swallow that. The body does not synthesize or break that stuff down very well. So whatever benefits that you're hoping to get from that pill, you're only getting a fraction of the benefits because that hard pill, the body doesn't break it down so well as it would the capsule, or better yet, the natural herb itself, right? So if you could get the B100 like in the liquid form, get that. If you're taking a flush, a cleanse, any type of herbs, get it in its raw form and boil a tea or make a tincture. That's first and foremost. Your format, the raw plant itself, and boil it and make a tea out of it. That's your first line of defense. If you can't get it, then you try to find it in capsule form, but try to stay or liquid form, but stay away from those pills. I mean, if it's all you can find, I'm not saying don't take it, but there's tiers, there's levels when it comes to stuff like that, right? If you want the full benefit of these herbs and stuff like that, you need to be taking it in its purest form. So coming back to the ginger and the turmeric, I know for a fact that a lot of people that know about that stuff, you'll run the GNC and get the capsule, which again, if that's all you can find is good, but ginger and turmeric is plenteous, man. Those things are not hard to find. So you might have to make yourself some ginger tea. Yes, it's bitter. Yes, it's hot. Yes, when you add the ginger to your tea, like you add a piece of raw ginger to your tea, yes, it's hot. You add some turmeric to your drink, your smoothie, whatever, yes, it's hot, but it's good and aids in circulation, so it's good. So if you suffer from something like ED, those are two herbs that you definitely want to get on. Although if you suffer from some other ailments, which I don't want to get too deep into this because I'm not the master herbalist, Patrick is, but I just know what he tells me, right? And even my wife is better at the herbs and stuff than me, y'all know that. So, y'all can consult and speak with them, but I know what I know. There are certain ailments that if you have, then ginger and turmeric is not good. If you have certain ailments, which we can get into another time. So I done went all the way left talking about ED and stuff like that. I was really talking about the whole pharmaceutical industry and how, they're going to make millions of dollars, billions of dollars, I should say, off this whole COVID thing. All right, so we're doing okay with the likes, but we can have some more. We definitely could have some more. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Like I said earlier, for those of y'all that just came on, I'm doing these because people have been requesting them. Like y'all have never seen me do this many driving shows this often, but I guess it helps some of you guys. And like I told y'all, yeah, it helps me too. I've been up since 2 a.m. I don't know why. And so I'm a type of person that the way my sleep pattern is, I could have fell back asleep until, I could sleep until about 3 o'clock if I want to. But what's going to wind up happening is I was wide awake at 2 o'clock. I would have laid there, then I would have probably fell asleep at 2:30 and fell into such a deep sleep that now when I get up at 3, I'm walking around like the Walking Dead, like I'm half asleep. So I was already up. I just said, F it, I'm going to go ahead and leave out early. I was hoping to beat traffic, but as y'all can see, it's 3 o'clock in the morning here, and y'all can see the traffic is out here just like normal, which I hate. So I said, F it, I'll just get up and just drive in. And a brother had asked me to do a live, so I said, all right, why not? Why not? Like I said, I didn't really have anything particularly planned, so I'm just talking. So yeah, like Chicago is going on lockdown. So this dude is right on my tail, like just random stuff. Y'all know I do be having a little road rage when I drive. In case y'all ain't been watching, I do have a little, just a little bit, because I feel like people do really stupid stuff. I'm the type of person, just so y'all know, some of y'all would hate me, right? I'm the type of person that if you tailgate me in all this traffic, right, there's nowhere for me to go. If you tailgate me, even when the thing opens up, I am not going to go any faster, Because you should have been tailgating me for what? What's the point? What is the point? So since you want to tailgate me, since you want to be like right up on top of me, now when stuff opens up, I am not going to let you. I am not going to go any faster. You're gonna stay behind me, and that's just what it is. Yeah, I do that because people are just wild. They're wild. I don't understand that tailgating thing. Like if somebody has to stop on a dime, you're finished. That's what I always tell people. You tailgating somebody for no reason, then the person in front of you has to stop on a dime. Now your car's messed up and their car's messed up, all for you being impatient for what? That's why there's so many accidents on my way to work every morning. I'm seeing so many, because people like these cars in front of me, they're all tailgating each other. They're all right on top of each other. I'm giving them room. It's 3 in the morning. What you tailgating somebody for? Where you going? I just sit back and I laugh, man. You know, it's all good. Most I will. I'm trying to get to where I'm going, so I don't play a lot of these road games with a lot of people, man. I don't. Oh man, D-Red, the blue collar scholar in the building. I just happened to peek over to the chat and I see you up in here. What you doing up early in the morning, D-Red, man? It's not even 4 o'clock yet. What you doing, bro? Yeah, so anyway, so to my brothers and sisters in Chicago, y'all brothers and sisters, be safe. You know, hopefully you brothers and sisters have been heeding the stuff that we've been talking about on this channel now for months. Hopefully you brothers and sisters have been heeding that stuff, because y'all can definitely see that it's playing out just as we expected. The other thing that we were talking about, that we through the Spirit of the Most High, that we predicted before the election, was that Trump was not going to concede, and he still has not. Despite what the mainstream media is telling you guys, he still has not and has no intention of doing so. And so I did a video, I think it was last Monday, which YouTube yanked down right away because I did play a video off of a commercial YouTube station website. I mean, a commercial YouTube channel. I replayed their video and did a commentary on it, which is supposed to be fair use, right? It's supposed to be fair use, but YouTube doesn't respect fair use. So they struck the video down, but it was a video where they were highlighting all the different avenues that Donald Trump has in terms of him disputing the mainstream election. I think the most important, one second, sorry. Yeah, I think the most important avenue that he has that is not being discussed enough, because a lot of people are talking about that he could take it to the Supreme Court, so forth and so on. But even if that fails, which by the way, we know that he rushed through a nominee right before the election. That was not by accident, because he was predicting for months, if you had listened to his speeches, he was predicting for months that he wasn't going to accept the results of the election because the Democratic Party was pushing the whole mail-in ballot thing, and he believed that it was going to be fraudulent, which there are enough videos circulating over the internet that we can clearly see that there was definitely some fraudulent stuff going on. Ballots being thrown away, somebody living in one county, but somebody's casting a vote in their name in another county. You're a woman and you get married and you change your last name, and somehow or another somebody votes using your maiden name and all types of stuff. The so-called observers that are supposed to be observing the vote counting in certain states were kicked out. They say that there were trucks after the polling stations closed. There were trucks coming in filled with fake ballots, and there's just all types of stuff or narratives that's out here. Some I believe, some not so much, but there's a lot of stuff out here. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, right? So, you know, at some point it may very well go to the Supreme Court. There's a deadline for the Electoral College is supposed to be happening, what, the second week of December? Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the so-called Electoral College is voting the second week of December. But in that video that I played, all right, just hang in there with me, family, hang in. There's certain places that are drop zones here where I'm driving, so if it cuts out, I'll come right back. So anyway, as I was saying, it could very well go to the House of Representatives. So in the video, they were explaining that it's not going to be a vote for vote in the House of Representatives because we know the Democrats control the House of Representatives. So if the election comes down to a vote in the House of Representatives, it's not going to be a vote for vote because the Democrats would win. So that would defeat the purpose. The media is already projecting Biden as the winner. So that would be irrelevant to do that, right? It wouldn't even make sense to bring it to the House. But it's not going to be a vote for vote. The way that it was broken down and the way it apparently it appears in the Constitution is that it is a vote by delegation, not a vote for vote count in the House of Representatives. If it is a vote by delegation, if you look at the so-called electoral map, you guys can clearly see there are more red states than there are blue states. So if it was a vote by delegation, Trump can use that vote by delegation to actually find his way through the back door back into being president. This is a real thing that could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. So listen carefully to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is by him not conceding, all these possibilities are on the table. That is what I'm saying. And no matter how it goes, it's going to be bad, right? If he was to get in through the back door by contesting the election results, the projection that the media has made, because it's only a projection, the media is projecting Joe Biden as being president-elect. That has not been confirmed, family. I hope y'all know that. That is not confirmed until the Electoral College, and even that can be disputed. So it's not confirmed. It's just, it is a talking point that the media is using right now. It's still being contested. So it can only end bad, because no matter who loses, somebody gonna be mad. Y'all saw on Saturday, they had something called the Million MAGA March in DC. I don't know if you guys saw that. And Antifa was also out there. And if you watch the news, according to the footage that they showed, it was peaceful during the day, but towards the end of the march, there was some clashes between Antifa and the MAGA people. That's very low level, right? But it is an indicator that there are some major fault lines in this country over this election. There was a politician, I believe he was from Mississippi, he might have been from Louisiana, but I want to say he was from Mississippi, that has called for his state to secede from the union if Donald Trump is not reelected because of the election fraud. There's actually a politician that said that. Of course, he was put under some pressure and he came back and he kind of backtracked from that statement, but this is just the sentiment that's in this country. And for the powers that should not be, people call them the powers that be, but I know them as the powers that should not be, this all plays into their hand no matter how this plays out. Because if there's any type of civil unrest, so forth and so on, they could bring in martial law, right? And that's exactly what they want to do. All they need is a reason. The laws are already on the books. They've been on the books since 9/11. If there's another terrorist attack, there's already laws on the books for that. If there's riots, civil unrest, so forth and so on, there's already laws on the books for that. In the case of a food shortage, there's already laws on the books for that. We could thank Bill Clinton for those laws, right? Executive orders that are already on the books. You have the Insurrection Act. The Insurrection Act, which is already on the books and has been used by many presidents, and Donald Trump has threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act. Y'all could go to YouTube and pull up videos on that. He's already threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, which pretty much would put us in martial law. The last time you had the Insurrection Act that was it was invoked by a president was George Bush Sr., and that was during the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles. He invoked he invoked the Insurrection Act in the state of California. That was the last time. Donald Trump has threatened to invoke that again. So the Bible says in the last days, perilous times should come. And we're in those perilous times now, which brings me to my next thing that I want to say, although I'm not really going to go into this too much, which really brings me to my next thing that I have to say as a side note. I don't understand, and y'all have heard me say this many times, I don't understand the foolishness that takes place on social media. I don't get it. Like, it's too much bickering and arguing and about frivolous things. It is, you know? And sometimes y'all try to or want to drag me into these frivolous debates and arguments that's not worth nothing. Now, granted, yes, sometimes I do get involved in debates and discussions, and sometimes it's the same stuff, it's the Kemet stuff and stuff like that. But I don't get absorbed into it. Like, I'll jump in and I'll jump out. See what I'm saying? I'm not overtaken by it. If you watch the majority of my videos is teaching my people repentance, teaching my people through Hamashiach Yahushai, keeping the commandments. I go into history and I teach my people practical information about what's going on in these present days. That's 90%, I would even say 95% of my content. Every now and then, I will jump into my little Kemet bag, and the only reason why I do that is for the people that's new to the faith or weak in the faith, that will hear these silly, stupid arguments that these anti-Bible people make, and every now and then I'll jump in just to attack the premise, not so much that I'm focusing on them, but it's for brothers and sisters that are weak in the faith. There may be things that they say that you're not clear on. So I'll jump in just to clear up a misconception or a lie that they're teaching, and then I'll jump right back out. But I'm not getting myself involved and engrossed in all this back and forth foolishness all the time. Even amongst ourselves as Israelites, we're into this back and forth BS. Like, I'm not getting into no back and forth with nobody about whether we should keep the laws or not. If you want to be a lawless light, go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't trying to stop you. If you want to believe some of these newfangled doctrines that's coming out, go ahead. I ain't trying to stop you. At some point, will I address the doctrine in a lesson? Sure will. But I'm not going to be going back and forth. Like somebody said, why don't we have a debate about whether the laws are done? Are you crazy? The Most High's laws are not debatable. That's not a subject I'm going to debate. That's not debatable. So you'll never see that. I might have a debate on the virgin birth, as I've had a few times. I may have a debate on subjects like that, but not the laws. You out of your mind. No. I'm not even giving, like Paul said in the book of Galatians 2, I'm not giving you space, no, not even for an hour, to even be in my presence with that BS doctrine at all. So there'll be no debate. But some of you brothers and sisters, y'all, I call y'all argulites. You'll be on social media and Facebook and stuff arguing morning, noon, and night while we are in the midst of a so-called pandemic, while the martial law is looming, the presidential election has not been decided. It's like all types of stuff going on, wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, famines, diseases, you name it, all types of stuff is going on, and you focused on what? Nah. We got to get our stuff together as Israelites, man. We're living in perilous times. The Bible says the spirit of Christ, Hamashiach Yahushai, is the spirit of prophecy. So if you are obsessed with arguing, you better be equally obsessed with prophesying as well, because that's the spirit of Christ, Yahushai. So if you're arguing frivolous arguments morning to the night, and you're not prophesying, you're not warning your people, then you're not really doing the will of the Father. I just gotta say it. If somebody's offended, that's your business. I'm not in the business of rubbing nobody's back. You're not doing the will of the Father. The spirit of Christ is prophecy, man. So for those of y'all that like to make light of the fact that some of us go out in the highways and the byways and try to make that as an afterthought, like, yeah, they be on the corners, whatever like that. That is what we're supposed to do, man. Don't you understand why the Most High calls our leaders the gates? When you read Jeremiah 14:2, the Most High said, Judah mourneth and the gates thereof languish. Our gates, that's hip talk, that's slang for your leaders. Your gates represent your protection, right? Something that protects you. Gates surround your house, it protects you, right? The reason why our leaders are called the gates is because that's where they stood. That's where the prophets and stuff stood. They would stand by the gates, the openings of the cities, the eye of the needle, where people came in and out. And they would stand there and they would teach our people the commandments, and they would prophesy. That's why when you read the book of Proverbs chapter 1, it says, wisdom crieth in the chief places of concourse. Where's that? The gates. Where people are coming in and out. That's why we go to these places like wherever brothers teach, where there's a lot of traffic. That's part of this thing. Because I noticed that there's this talking down, I'm gonna call it like a talking down spirit by those that don't hit the streets, to make it seem like as though hitting the streets is not that important. You're out of your mind. That's the most important thing. That's what our forefathers, if you call yourself a prophet, you know what, you're really not a prophet or a teacher if you look down on that. The spirit is just not with you. It's just not with you in that way. Because that is extremely important. Christ told the apostles to go out into the highways and the hedges and to bid people to the feast. Where in the blue blazes do you think that was? That was in the gates, in the chief places of concourse. Where do you think Christ sent the disciples? And that's why you see us doing that thing. It is extremely vital and important. They could turn off YouTube tomorrow. Everybody was bugging out last week when YouTube went down for an hour or two. Everybody was bugging out. You have to ask yourself a question, and this is not a slight at nobody. I'm just keeping it a buck with you, right? If YouTube was to shut down tomorrow, look at your ministry of teaching. Besides YouTube, what else do you got going on? If the street teaching is not that important, if they shut down YouTube, and by the way, when YouTube was shut down last week, so was BitChute. So when YouTube goes, probably BitChute is going to go with it. They're even talking about the whole internet being blacked out, period. This is what they say. I don't know how true it is. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's the talk. If that were to happen, because some people say, well, don't worry, I got my own website. Okay, if there's a blackout on the internet, period, for whatever reason, what else does your ministry have? What else are you doing? Are you grassroots? Like, are you out in the streets amongst the people? If not, then that you need to add that. Instead of looking down on the brothers in the streets or on the corners, at least brothers have a grassroots way of continuing the ministry and teaching our people repentance. The question is, for those that are critical of that, do you have that? Do you have a grassroots ministry? Or do you only have an internet ministry? Hey, the Bible says examine yourself, man. I don't necessarily look down on brothers that don't hit the streets because I realize that that's not for everybody. Everybody's office is not the same. You should desire to prophesy. The scriptures say you should desire to prophesy. That's a gift you should desire. But if that spirit is not with you, what am I gonna do? Most High didn't give you that. He didn't give you that spirit. But don't dismiss the brothers that have that spirit, because it is a very important spirit, and it is a spirit to be desired according to the scriptures. Get the likes up, family. Get the likes up. So, excuse me. So, we have a very, very important job to do. So, as I was saying before, all this stuff that goes on the internet, listen, I just teach, man. I could care less who agrees or who disagrees. The Most High never really gave me a spirit to give a damn about who agrees or doesn't agree. I know what I'm talking about. And if I teach something, I can tell you why I teach it. That's what I know. So I'm not concerned with those that don't agree, whatever like that. That's cool. Just keep that to yourself and do that over there. That's all. No, I'm not getting into a 500 comment keyboard karate argument with you on social media. That's not going to happen. As I mentioned in my last video, don't leave me a 1,000-word comment on my video, because I'm only going to delete you and block you, because that's stupid. You can get your point. You can get your point out in 2 or 3 sentences, maybe 4. You got to leave me 1,000 words. There's no time for that. We're living in perilous times right now, man. Our people are looking for answers in all the wrong places. It's 2020, and our people are still looking to politicians for answers, and the politicians don't have answers. The politicians answer to special interest groups, the people that pay money for to help them with their campaigns, so forth and so on. They're beholden to them and special interest groups and lobbyists, not you and not me. And I'm talking about national politics, not so much local politics, because local politics could be argued. I'm talking about national politics, sometimes even statewide politics. They are beholden to lobbyists and special interest groups, not you and I. So they have no answers for us. These pork chop eating preachers have no answers for us. I'm looking at guys like T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar. They're preaching in their big empty churches because of COVID. But, you know, I don't understand, man. Like, I'm watching, you have all these faith healers, right? Y'all watch YouTube. Y'all see the same videos I see. The Bible speaks about the laying on of hands and stuff like that. That stuff is real, right? That stuff is real. And you can even read it in the scriptures. The laying on of hands is a real thing that the men of the Most High in ancient times, they had that spirit. They would lay their hands on you, they would touch you, whatever like that, and you could be healed. You can read about Yahweh with that and all that stuff like that. You can read that. It's not so much prevalent in our day, right? But these are so-called faith healers and pork chop eating pastors. What they do is they take those scriptures and they twist it. And you watch these videos where they call themselves laying hands on people, and they so-called catch the Holy Spirit and so forth and so on, and now they're healed of cancer and they're healed of this and they're healed of that. The problem is they never take that magic trick and go to the hospital. Right now, if COVID is as bad as the media would like us to believe, why have I not seen any videos of Creflo Dollar and T.D. Jakes and the rest of these guys? Why do I not see any of these guys in a hospital laying hands on people? Because supposedly you guys have the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, and you lay hands on people and heal the sick and all this other crap. But I don't see none of you guys in the hospital. I want to see one of these, just one. Benny Hinn, he takes off his blazer and waves it in the air and knocks out the whole goddamn order. Everybody falls out. You can't take that magic trick to the COVID unit in your nearest hospital and show us how it's done? I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. right? You got this one dude on BET. What's his name? Pastor Kearney Thompson, right? This dude said he has some prayer rag. You write him and send him a donation, and he sends you some prayer healing rag or some garbage that he has. Yo, why don't you just donate some of those prayer healing rags that when people touch it, they're healed, to the people in the COVID unit? Show us how it's done, because we need to see. It should be clear to our people that these pastors have no answers. During this COVID crisis, where's their faith? We show our faith by our works, right? That we believe in the Most High. We're not doing, I'm talking about the Israelites, we're not doing anything different than we was doing before COVID. We're still out in the highways and the byways, in the streets, in the midst of a so-called pandemic, teaching our people. The Christians are not. There was a Christian pastor. First of all, he wasn't even street teaching at all. And he saw our camp out in the streets for years. He would come by and be a scoffer or whatever he would be. And all of a sudden, this dude start popping up when the weather's nice and warm in the spring. This guy starts popping up down the block from us every Saturday preaching. Well, we haven't seen this guy all year. All year. Because remember, this so-called COVID thing started taking off really. We started hearing about it like late January into February. So all of 2020, this pastor has not come out in the streets, not one Saturday, all year. And somebody should follow you? And you saying that you have faith in the Most High and the Son? How do you take time off? What do the people do now that you're not teaching? You're not in the streets no more. What do the people do? These politicians, these preachers don't have the answers. The Bible has the answers, and the ones that's teaching the Bible are the Israelites. We through the Spirit and power of the Most High, we have the answers, not them. And we need to be focusing our ministry on fishing for the elect, because the Most High's elect, some of them are still looking for the truth. The Most High hasn't revealed the truth to them yet. And the Bible tells us through the foolishness of preaching, that's how this gospel is going to proliferate. The Most High could just make it where the elect just wakes up and we can get the hell up out of here. But the Bible says through the foolishness of preaching, man. That's the way the Most High set it up. So somebody got to be out here preaching and prophesying so as the elect could hear this word. And it's all by happenstance too, man. Isaiah said you're gonna hear, it's gonna be like you hear a voice behind you saying this is the way. So you're going in one direction, and you hear a voice behind you saying you're going the wrong way, it's this way. Most of us, before we came into this truth, we had a career path or a path of life that we all had mapped out. Most of us, not all of us. We had life mapped out of what we were going to do, right? You were going to maybe go to school, or you were going to go, to learn a trade, right? You were going to get a good job. You were going to buy a house. You were going to buy a house with a white picket fence. You were going to have 2.5 children, right? Some of you were going to be musicians and rappers and singers, and you were going to be famous and or whatever. You had your whole career path set out for you. And then one day, somebody just said something to you. You ran across somebody by happenstance. They asked you, did you know you're an Israelite? And now all of a sudden you were going one way, and now you're going the complete opposite direction of where you had planned on going. But if somebody didn't come and teach you or prophesy or whatever to you, you would have kept going in that other direction. Or you might have been outside going about your daily business, and you just happened to come across the camp. That's my first introduction to this truth. The first time that I saw the Israelites, I saw them in Times Square. 1991, that's the first time I ever saw them, right? Brothers was out there, they was prophesying, they was teaching, and I was out in Times Square. It was me and my sister. We were out there doing what people do. You know what I'm saying? Back then, you know, that's where all the action was. Everybody came in Times Square. The freaks, the weirdos, the everything. Everybody was in Times Square. It was the place to be. So you would just, you know, you live in New York, you just go down there just for the fun of it, walk around and see what's good. That's what we were out there for. We were young. I wasn't out there looking for no truth. I thought I had it. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I was fresh out the Christian church, reading the student enrollment for the 5%ers. That's what I was dealing with at the time. I thought I was good, and I was content with that. But I seen these brothers on the corner, and I never heard no black men, and I was very young, so of course there were black men doing it before them. But I never witnessed no black men in my lifetime that I had come across in the flesh that spoke with the authority that these brothers spoke with, and with the confidence that these brothers spoke with. I had never witnessed that in person, ever. I might have seen Malcolm X do, you know, say some things. I saw Farrakhan say some things on, you know, I would see that on TV. I would see that, you know, on VHS or DVDs at the time. No, VHS, really. At that time, it was VHS. I would see those, but I never seen anybody do it in person, and do it in person to people's face. I never saw that. So that, to me, blew my mind. And I'll never forget, the brothers gave me a flyer. This is 1991. Brothers handed me a flyer. And guess what? I went home, put the flyer down, and never came into the truth at that time. This is 91. But that seed was planted, and I didn't understand at the time, but it wasn't my time yet. I always tell y'all the story, so I'm kind of repeating myself, but some of y'all are new, you never heard me tell the story. So at the time, of course, me and my partner, we was doing the music thing. That's why y'all hear me kind of going back to it. I'm just doing it for fun. Like, I'm not really taking it serious, just so y'all know. The music is just another thing that the younger brothers around me kind of push me to do, because they know the story, and they kind of heard some of my old music from 92 and 93, and they're like, oh, you should still, you know. So listen, I'll do anything to proliferate the word, so I just do it just for fun. Let's just get that clear. Not trying to go anywhere with it and nothing like that, you know. But so in 92, you know, me and my partner, we was doing some music, and we had a job that we was working at, and you had two brothers that worked at the job that used to have a record deal, right? They were down with this dude named Vance Wright, and they had a record deal. If y'all don't know who Vance Wright is, if you ever heard of a rapper called Slick Rick, like Vance Wright was like, Slick Rick was down with Vance Wright, or Vance Wright was down with Slick Rick, so forth and so on, right? And these brothers were down with that too. And they had a record deal, and they had a record that came out, but I guess after the record came out, they were no longer with the record label, whatever, and they was going to the school at the time. And we was all working at the same job. At this time, I was still into my whole 5% thing, and so was my partner. We was 5%ers. And we used to go back and forth, but the one thing that we all had in agreement is we had a love for music. We was all trying to, at that time, we were all trying to get on and get a record deal, all of us. And so in between making music, these dudes was always beating us in the head about this Bible thing. And I had just got rid of Christianity, so I was not trying to hear that stuff. But I listened because I remember seeing the brothers on the streets like a year before, in 91. Now I'm telling y'all about 92, 93, well, really 92, when I met these brothers like a year later. So I didn't come into the truth right away. I thought the brothers was cool, they was bold, it was all good, but I still was with my 5% stuff. And these brothers, we would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the brother just kept saying to us, yo, brother, just come to the school. Just come to the school, man. Come check it out. Come check it out. And we was like, nah. But eventually, I was like, F it. What could it hurt? And so I went to the school. And it's just like Isaiah said, it's like a voice that was behind me, like, word, this is the way. Like when I went in there, immediately I was like, yo, I'm coming back. I loved it. And so I went back that Friday again. That's when I met Bun Lawyer. I've told that story before too. I don't want to deviate too far. That's where I met Bun Lawyer. And I met Bun Lawyer by making fun of him. Because this dude was always, listen, y'all know, you go to a club, right? And how these clubs do it is they always have a line outside, right? The line outside is to show people that there's something going on, because everybody that's driving by is like, yo, why is all them people waiting online to get in? What the hell's going on over there? So the Friday night class was like that. The Friday night class was the class where everybody, it was standing room only in Friday night class, period. It was packed like a slave ship. Everybody went to Friday night class because it was nothing but Comedy Central, right? So what would happen is, Friday night classes was so popular that brothers would come and stand outside the school like an hour before class. Just like they did in the world when they would go to a club. I'm dead serious. Brothers would stand outside the school like an hour before it opened just to be able to get a front row seat Friday night class. And you know who was always at the front of the line? Bun Lawyer. That's how I met the brother. And I used to always make fun of him, like, yo, dude, what the I'm saying, me personally, I like to sit in the back. Even in school, I was always the back of the classroom type dude. That was me. I don't like all that front stuff. You know what I mean? One day I'll go into another reason why I didn't like sitting up front of school, because sometimes the brothers that sit up front, they would pick on you too, the elders, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's how we met. But yeah, so I went back that Friday night, and I was even more hooked, because just like I said, the Friday night classes was off the hook. And, you know, so I started going to class more and more. And when I first came into the school, and this is what I always tell, especially these conscious community dudes, when people always tell me, hey, no, listen, when I first came in, I was already saying to myself, okay, I agree with that. I don't agree with that. I agree with that, because I didn't know a damn thing. Like, I still had some of that 5% nonsense in my head. And it took time of me going to drop that stuff. It took time. So that's pretty much the story of how I came in, right? But the street teaching is really what sparked the whole thing, because I was already familiar with who the brothers were, because I had seen them a year before in the streets, and I liked that energy. But I had no desire at the time to be a part of it, to go to the school or nothing. It took me being around some brothers that was making music to make the connection, okay, I'm gonna go to the school. And then when I went to the school, the Most High did the rest. So for those that think that preaching or prophesying is not important, you couldn't be more wrong. I wouldn't be here without it. Maybe I wouldn't have went to the school at all had I not seen the brothers a year before. This brother brought it to me again. I may have not even gone to the school at all. You understand? So that seed was planted that day from the street teaching. That's why street teaching has always been dear to my heart. It's my testimony. It's how I came in. And it's a testimony for a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all first saw the camps on YouTube. And you didn't know what the hell it was either. Some of you brothers and sisters were scoffers in the beginning too. Until the Most High opened it up to your spirit that this is the way. And that's why when we go to camp, I don't throw nobody away that comes in front of the camp that might scoff. As long as you're not disrespectful, if you come up and you scoff a little bit, but you're not really going crazy, I don't hold it against you, because only the Most High knows if you're part of that elect or not. Because everybody that hears this truth is not going to come in the first time they hear it. That's my testimony. I didn't come in the minute that I heard this truth. It took me a year or so to come in later, because the Most High wasn't ready for me at that time. It wasn't my time. You know? So, yeah. that's that. Hey, family, so my phone, I didn't realize, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna go. My phone just gave me the message that it's going to die because I didn't charge it. I thought I charged it. I'm gonna keep it trucking because I'm almost to work. If I could get to work on time, I could plug it into the car because I'm an hour and a half early to work. It's just because I couldn't sleep. So if the phone will hold itself like another 10-15 minutes before my battery dies, then when I get to work I can plug it in and I'll be alright. But I don't know. Yeah, somebody said, oh yeah, that's right. Somebody said something about public access. Yep. That was another thing. Before YouTube, there was public access cable, right? Most of y'all still have public access cable in your area right now. Before YouTube, the only other way that we was able to proliferate this word is we had public access TV shows, right? I still have some of the public access TV shows that I did back in the 90s, still in my arsenal, but they're on, as y'all know, they're on VHS. By the way, there was a brother that told me, I didn't ask you to do it, but you said you was gonna give me your VHS player because I went online trying to look at them joints, and I'm not paying no $200 for no VHS player, $200-300. That is insane. Some brother came on and said he would give it to me, but I don't know. Did you email me, brother? I don't know if you're listening. Did you email me? Maccabeestv@gmail.com. You know, if you give it to me, I'm sharing with the people. You know what I mean? I'm gonna convert some of those old videos to digital so I can share them with y'all, so that y'all can see kind of some of the stuff that was going on back in the days. Y'all hear the stories, but you don't really see a lot of the video evidence because a lot of people don't have it. Either they lost it, or you know, or whatever. They don't have it. But I happen to have a lot of that old footage still. Some brothers are gonna be surprised. Some brothers are gonna be surprised at some of the stuff I have. Some brothers might even be mad if I put some of that stuff out. So I'm gonna have to kind of comb through it first, because some brothers don't want you to see them back then. I don't know why, but they don't. So you know. But I have a lot of. I got a lot of stuff. Sometimes even I look at the stuff like, damn, I got a lot of stuff, man. There was a brother that offered to give me a VHS player. That would be cool. I mean, eventually I will buy one, but every time I go on eBay and I look at the prices, I close the window like, nah. But eventually I'm gonna buy one because that's like history that you know, I can't allow it to go to waste, you know? So I do need to retrieve it. So at some point I'm gonna have to close my eyes and get it. But I just don't know when. You know, a lot of people ask me, when you gonna do it, when you gonna do it? Well, when I do some, you know, a little more overtime, then maybe I might close my eyes and get a VHS player. I don't know, you know. Or, you know, y'all can go on my website, Wake Up Jacob 12, pick up a few items, merchandise and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Show support to me, and then I can use that to to get it. You know what I'm saying? If y'all really want to see it like that, you know what I mean? What else can I tell you? Yeah. You'd be surprised, man. Like I said, some of the stuff I have, you'd be surprised. You know what I'm saying? I got brothers when they were young, man. Young Bun Lawyer, young Zabak, young Bakwash from 14th Street Israelite, young, you know what I'm saying? I got those videos, man. I'll be looking at them like, wow. My man, the brother that y'all call the baby Hebrew, man. You know what I'm saying? Malachi, I got videos of him like, oh, I got so much stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So much stuff from 1996, 97, 98. It's a lot of stuff. But it's all on VHS tape. That should tell you how old it is. It's all on VHS tape. Because y'all do know that back in the days, the video cameras my first video camera that I ever brought worked off of VHS tapes, y'all. That's how far back it goes. The first camera that I ever owned when I used to film the camps ran off of VHS tapes. Then it switched to running off of the mini DVDs. I have videotapes on miniature DVDs before it ever went digital. Then some of the cameras ran off of DVDs, right? So I have all that stuff just sitting collecting dust and cobwebs. Like I sit down and watch that stuff by myself. I would like to share it with y'all, but I watch it by myself. Sometimes I'll show it to my camp, but to get that stuff online, it's kind of difficult. You know what I'm saying? I know I've been saying it for years, and people been waiting. I know, man, shout out my man Alizar, Gorilla Hebrew. I know he definitely want them old bun lawyer joints. He's been asking me for those for years. Also, it's a tedious process, by the way, too. If anybody knows a better way, help your brother out, right? I'm not the most technical person, right? So I also have a lot of stuff on DVDs. So there's a program that I use called Format Factory. I don't know if y'all guys ever heard of it. It's called Format Factory. It's a free download you could download. And one of the things that Format Factory does, one of the applications it has, is it can rip DVDs. But the problem I'm having is that it's so damn slow. Like I have DVDs, every DVD that I have from the old school, all those DVDs are like 2, 3, 4 hours long. And when I try to rip it using Format Factory, sometimes it'll take like almost 16 hours to rip one DVD. So it's such a long and tedious process. Sometimes I just give up, like, nah, I ain't got time for all this. You know what I mean? I don't want to leave my computer running for that long. I go to work, I come back and still ripping one DVD. If anybody knows a faster way to rip footage from a DVD that y'all can recommend to me, please feel free to let me know here in the comments, whatever, let me know. I'm using Format Factory and it's not efficient, which is another reason why I've not been giving y'all these DVDs that y'all been asking me to post up, of old videos. I haven't done it because I haven't found an efficient way to do it. And I'm not the most technical. So some of you younger brothers and sisters may be way more technical and know something better that you could recommend to me. I'm definitely open to suggestions if y'all want this footage. If not, I'm not making no promises or giving y'all no time limit on when I'm gonna do it, because it's a tedious process either way. Well, the best that I could do maybe is that I'll turn my computer on and I'll turn the camera on my cell phone, and y'all can look at some of that stuff that way while I'm watching it on my DVD, DVD player. That's about the best I can do. And I'm not holding my camera up for my camera up for no 2 hours either, so you ain't gonna get the whole thing. But if y'all want the whole thing, yeah, I need a more efficient way. Okay, you know what? I shouldn't even have told y'all, because somebody's typing something and I'm driving, I can't look. I'm almost to work though, so. You can also email me. You also could email me that information at Maccabeestv@gmail.com as well. In case you type it right here and I missed it, just to make sure I get it, you can email me that information, and that way I'll definitely get it. But I need a more efficient way of ripping those DVDs, and I'm gonna go through it, and probably I'm not gonna put certain DVDs. I'm not gonna put out, because I will, just out of respect, ask certain people before I put up old footage of them, because some brothers are real sensitive about that. Like I said, I don't know why, but they're sensitive and whatever. I don't have time for no sensitive brothers that's gonna be mad. So for some people I know won't care, but some brothers I know will be sensitive. So if certain people I'll ask, or I just won't put it out at all. Sorry. If you come amongst us to, where we congregate, then I might play it in person, but I probably won't put it up on YouTube of certain people. All right. Let's see. All right, the phone is still going, believe it or not. I thought it would have died by now. I'm almost there, so that I could charge it. It's a little cold this morning too. Some heat. All right, family, y'all done got another one out of me, man. All the way here to work, right? If the phone dies before I'm able to plug it in, I'm gonna tell y'all now, I am not starting another live. I'm already here. So if y'all want me to keep going, y'all need to hope that this thing holds on for like another 3 or 4 minutes till I get to work. And I can plug it in. Because if it dies, that's just gonna be a wrap. And when I park, we can go into, we can talk about a few projects that I'm working on, I guess, to kill the time. Next question is, with me being an hour and a half early, am I going to get free parking today? Let's see. Last week I got free parking every day except for one. If a brother is fortunate enough to get free parking again today, let's see. Uh-oh, what's that? What's that? Is that free? Let's see, is that free? Nope. Okay, so what do we have over here? Ah, that sucks. No free parking for your brother. No free parking for your brother. That sucks. Well, you know that the dude in the Jeep, he usually leaves early. If I sit out here long enough, I may be able to get some free parking from him. He does leave early. So let's see. All right, hold tight, y'all. Let me first thing is first. Let me look for this charger before this thing dies. Okay, the folder's gonna move a little bit and be a little janky. It'll be all right, family. It'll be okay. Just hold tight, hold tight. A little janky, I know. Hold tight. It's gonna be all right. Okay, I don't think this thing's charging. That's not good. Okay, let's do it this way. Hold tight, family. Hold tight. I think that'll do it. I don't know. I ain't gonna hold you. One second, y'all. Yeah, it is charging. All praises. Okay. I know that was a little janky, but it's all right. Not trying to be professional early in the morning. All right. I guess I gotta keep the engine running now because I'm charging the phone. Okay. Anyway. So. 120. Damn, I made good time this morning. All right, all praises. All right, so what y'all want to talk about? In the meantime, while y'all figuring that out, I'll just talk to y'all about some of the stuff that I've been working on. So I've been crafting, like I said, I'm all over the place in terms of my studies. Like I'm transferring literally every lesson that I have into a PowerPoint format, like everything. So I might be, with no exaggeration, I might have at least 60 to 70 PowerPoints in different stages of development. You know what I'm saying? And mainly lessons that I think that are important. I'm transferring those to PowerPoint. I find that people respond to PowerPoints better. You know, it's kind of, it's like a visual aid, so people respond to them better. So I'm converting a lot of my lessons, not just history, but even Bible breakdowns and teachings into PowerPoint. It's a great undertaking. And now that I'm actually doing it, I'm even regretting it myself because I done started it and I done spoiled the brothers in my camp. Like every lesson that I do for them is via PowerPoint. So now they become so accustomed to it that I have to just do them all that way, which is the reason why I do that is because sometimes you're talking to people or you're teaching and you expect people to get a Bible or to look up the verses that you're bringing out. They're just listening. A lot of times they're not looking at the verses and stuff like that. So I put it up on the screen for you. I put it in PowerPoint. Or if I mention something in history, I'll show you the screenshot of the book or whatever it is that I'm mentioning. I'll show you that. And that's that. So I have different PowerPoints at different stages of development that I'm working on right now. Like for instance, yesterday, I was working on a PowerPoint called The Fallacy of the Original Manuscript. The Fallacy of the Original Manuscript. Now you might ask yourself, what is that about? Well, this is another argument that the conscious community tries to use against the Bible. So it is something that we have to be prepared to answer when it's presented to us. This fallacy about their, an original manuscript of the Bible. They always ask us, well, where's the original manuscript of the Bible? So I'm addressing that argument in this PowerPoint that I'm working on. The argument about an original manuscript is a fallacy. Just so we're clear, it's a fallacy. That's not the way we as Israelites conducted ourselves. We didn't, amongst ourselves, where's the original manuscript? I'll give you a perfect example of something that I went into in this PowerPoint, right? I'm paraphrasing, but remember, Moses instructed Joshua when he went into the land, he instructed Joshua to erect stones, right? And to write the commandments on stone. What is that? That's a copy. He instructed Joshua to take the manuscript, to take those commandments that Moses received and make a copy in stone and erect it where the people could see it. That's a copy. That's not the original. So we never had this thing amongst Israel where we had this obsession with an original man. We made copies of everything. Why? You had priests throughout all the coast of Israel, throughout all 12 tribes, right? That had to judge matters, sacrifice for the people, do the priestly duties. If you have priests throughout the coast of all Israel, they all don't have an original copy. They all don't have the original manuscript. Somebody got a copy. You know what I'm saying? It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy. And it's one of those fallacies that they just use as a talking point to try to discredit the scriptures. So I have a whole PowerPoint presentation showing you that from the beginning, we always had copies of our records that were distributed throughout the nation. It was a profession in Israel to be a scribe. It was a family profession for some. Father, son were scribes. Just like you had the priesthood was passed down from father to son to son to son. It's the same thing. You had a lot of other professions in Israel that were passed down. It was a profession, right? That's why you read about a whole class in the New Testament called these scribes. That's what they did. When Christ went up into the temple and read from the book of Isaiah, was he reading from the original manuscript? Huh? Was he reading from the original? Did that temple have the original manuscript? No, it did not. It had a copy. And if that copy was good enough for the Messiah, then a copy is good enough for me. You understand? So I got a whole PowerPoint going into that whole thing. But on a much deeper level. So that's something. Right. Baruch was Jeremiah's scribe. A lot of the prophets had scribes. Moses had people scribing for him. Some things Moses wrote and some things people scribed down for him. I'm going into all that. So, excuse me. So that whole thing about an original manuscript is a fallacy that's used by people. And no ancient society operated like that. The Egyptians had scribes too. Those monuments that you see in ancient Egypt are monuments that were put together by the pharaohs. A lot of that stuff deals with what they call their so-called medu neter, their so-called holy, their so-called holy writings and stuff like that. Some of those are monuments to, war, victory, and so forth and so on. That's what you're seeing in Egypt. But the everyday Egyptian history is not on those walls. It's not on those walls. Everyday Egyptian history was written on papyruses, and they were scribes who copied that stuff. Copies. Just like some of the papyruses that you see in the different museums, like the Brooklyn Museum has copies of papyruses, and the British Museum has copies of papyruses. Those are copies. Nobody has a problem with those being copies, right? But when it comes to the scriptures now, people have a problem. You understand? So it's really a ludicrous and stupid argument, but it's nevertheless one that we have to be prepared to at least give an answer for, because like I always tell you, brothers and sisters, some things are stumbling blocks for people to come into the truth. So we have to consider our brother and our sister that may stumble at something that you didn't. You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality that I try to keep. Just because something is not a stumbling block for me doesn't mean that it's not a stumbling block for somebody else. All right, I don't know what that comment is in reference to. Nevertheless, whatever. I don't know. That was anyway. What All right, Lamine, Drame. I don't know what you're talking about. It's definitely not what I'm talking about. Try and stick to the subject if you could. It's early in the morning. Thank you, OTT. Beautiful, right? Every Israelite king had the right to Torah, right? Copies. And I mentioned to you guys also last time, not to keep bringing it up, but repetition is a part of teaching. Even the Bible that we deal with today, the main Bible that we deal with today, the KJV, that was part of the curriculum of him growing up, was to write down copies of certain scriptures, which is why he made an attempt along with William Alexander to translate the book of Psalms, because that's something that kings did. Just like the brother said, from ancient times even to more modern times, that's something that people did. We always made copies. How else would the word proliferate? How else would somebody halfway across the world know what the word of God is unless they had a copy? That whole thing about one original manuscript is felonious. Furthermore, the Bible takes place over a long span of time, right? It takes place over a long span of time. So constantly, as different captivities we went through and different prophets would arise, the book kept being added to. And these prophets, a lot of them had scribes that wrote down stuff that they as they were commanded by the prophet, right? So it's a felonious argument, but it's out there. So it's something to consider, so that when somebody brings it or presents it to you, you know how to deal with it. So that PowerPoint right there is something that I'm working on. I was considering doing it Saturday. Excuse me, not Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. When I come in from camp, but I don't think so. But I will give it to you guys eventually. I'll give it to you guys eventually. It gives me more time to work on it. For those of y'all that have been asking me about the whole Piso family conspiracy, as far as the Piso family being the secret writers of the New Testament, as far as y'all that was asking me about that, I started working on that as well. But it's like I started working on it and just my interest just went away from it right away. But I know it's something I do need to deal with because it's out there. And you even had Israelites that believed in the New Testament that ran and read that stupid pamphlet that they got offline and bugged out of their mind. So at some point, I do need to address it. Although there's already information out there debunking it, but I do need to address it. I just need to have the attention span to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up that pamphlet again and go through it one more time. I just don't have the interest in it really. There's so much other more important stuff to talk about, but I can't even really say it's more important because literally I've seen a handful of brothers that read that pamphlet and totally lost their minds. So I can't even say it's not that important because obviously there was nobody to kind of address it for them. So it wound up being a stumbling block for them as well. You know, the Piso family did not write the New Testament. That is a lie. The gematria that they use to so-called prove that the Piso family are the secret authors of the New Testament only works in English. If you try to use the same gematria in Greek, it doesn't work. And we know that the manuscripts for the New Testament are in Greek. So you can't use it based on the English Bible and come up with this stupid behind doctrine that these dudes have. You know what I'm saying? It would also need to work in the Greek, which is what the manuscripts were written in, and it doesn't, which proves it's a lie. Just pray for me that the Most High give me inspiration to actually really put the whole PowerPoint together, because that one I'm not excited about, but it does need to be addressed, right? You know, so that's another one that I'm working on. What else? What else was that? I'm working on a lot of stuff. The whole book of Revelation, I'm doing PowerPoints for every chapter. Okay, Lamine, where you at? Lamine, I had to put you in timeout just for a little while, my friend. Because you are talking about something I don't know what's going on with you, but you talking about stuff that we're not talking about. So I'm just gonna kindly put you in timeout so you can get focused. Okay, we ain't over here talking about Islam this morning, so just focus. So I was saying I'm also doing PowerPoints for the whole book of Revelation. They're all in different stages of development. All the harder chapters in Daniel, from Daniel's 2, Daniel 8, 9, 10, 11. Daniel 11 is not really, it's just the Syrian wars. It's the wars between the Seleucids and the Ptolemies, the Seleucid and the Ptolemies. It's because we get a glimpse of that in the books of Maccabees, with Antiochus and Ptolemy, right? We get Antiochus the Fourth, Antiochus Epiphanes, and the Ptolemies, the war that they had. But there was actually wars that was going on for way longer than that, and way before that, between the Seleucids and the Antiochians, right? Now, the Seleucids and the Ptolemies. So just so brothers know, which I think brothers and sisters already know this, the Antiochians are part of the Seleucid line, right? So like when you look at the Ptolemies always name their son Ptolemy. I keep saying P, it's actually Ptolemy, right? They named their sons Ptolemy all the way down. When you look at the Seleucid line, they started off as Seleucids, but then some of the Seleucids started naming their sons Antiochus as well. But the Antiochians are part of the Seleucid dynasty, just so we're all on the same page. So Daniel 11 goes into the wars between the Seleucids and the Ptolemies. That's what it's going into. And there's some other stuff in there too, but that's mainly what it is. If you know that history of those wars, then it shouldn't be really hard to, go down the list in that chapter and actually make it make sense, right? So I'm putting together that as well. Some of the stuff that we see in Ezra and Esdras and the Apocrypha. I'm doing stuff on that as well. And another somebody asked, how music, you asked if the book of the Dead Sea Scrolls contain the book of Enoch. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So what I will tell you that I do know is that there are canons throughout the world. Maybe even the Ethiopian canon, and don't even hold me to that because it's been a while since I looked. But maybe the Ethiopian canon does. And we know the Ethiopian canon is older than the canon that we use today, right? It does. There's some canons throughout the world that do contain the book of Enoch, but I'm not sure about the Dead Sea Scrolls. If I were a betting man, I would say no, but don't hold me to that. The book of Enoch that we're dealing with today is not the same as the book of Enoch that the Bible talks about, which, there's enough information out there for brothers and sisters to do their own research without me having to break everything down for you guys. Yes, the Bible mentions the book of Enoch, but that doesn't mean that we pick up the whatever book of Enoch that we see on the shelf and start reading it and saying it's part of the Bible. You got to go through the book of Enoch, and you have to the one that they have today, and you have to compare it to the rest of the Bible. And if we find things in that book that contradict the main Bible that we have, then it's time to put that book of Enoch down. Same thing goes for the book of Jasher. I know a lot of Israelites are using that, right? Me personally, I don't really mess with those books, only because you got to do research on where these okay, this is one standard that we have to use. These translations that we have of these books are based on what manuscripts? See, when we're dealing with the Bible, we know the manuscripts that the Bible that we have today come from, right? We know these things, right? So, like if you go to the Blue Letter Bible, you're reading the Old Testament, right? You'll notice that it says Masoretic text. So you know that the underlying text in the KJV, at least on some of these websites, they're using is the Masoretic text. It's right there. It tells you, right? We know that the KJV New Testament is based on the Textus Receptus. See, we have this information. So we know what is the source material. So we have a place that we can go back and kind of look to see what sources that were being drawn from to give us our modern day Bible today. When we look at books like Enoch and Jasher, and I'm not saying I've done a ton of deep, in-depth research in this, my number one question that I have asked people that use those books is what source material are we drawing these books from? What text? Like, where's the original text that we can look to see how these people that translated these so-called lost books of the Bible, where is the text? I don't know what you're trying to type out, but you keep retracting your message. I don't know what happened. But anyway, what is the original manuscripts that these texts are being drawn from? That's a very, very critical and important thing that we have to ask before we just openly accept these books, as well as the whole pseudepigrapha. The whole pseudepigrapha. We have to be very careful of see, this is what I'm gonna tell you, brothers, and that's what this is a very, very slippery slope and very tricky in a lot of ways when it comes to subjects like these. So you really, really have to be well studied, and you have to be well rooted to get into certain studies. The canon is a very, very tricky subject. The Bible canon. If you don't know what the word canon means, if I'm not mistaken, the word canon means, I believe it means measuring or whatever like that, something like that. And what you have is you have different canons throughout the world. And what is a canon, right? Like the Catholics have a canon, meaning if you go into a Catholic church, you pick up a Bible, their Bible still has the Apocrypha in it, right? Then you have the so-called the KJV of today, right? At one time, that canon, or those group of books, did include the Apocrypha, but then you had men that came along that took it out. If you go over to Ethiopia, you have the Bible, but they have books in there that's not in the Catholic Bible, and it's also not in the KJV. They have their own canon. If you go over to Eastern Europe, they have a canon, right? So you have canons all over the place, and that thing is subject to change. Right, Apostle, exactly, about the book of Enoch. Those things are subject to change, right? Do you brothers know, what do I mean by it's subject to change, right? Do you brothers know that there was a point, brothers and sisters, do you guys know that there was a point where certain books that we have in our modern Bible today were considered to be non-canon? Did y'all know that? I'm gonna give y'all some homework. There was a point where the book of Revelation was considered to be not canon. Did y'all know that? There was a point where the book of Jude, that's in our Bible today, was considered to be not canon. These are facts. You only know this stuff if you study textual criticism, which is a study, like I said, I'm very much into, because I want to know how we got our Bible. So I study everything about it. I know myself and Divine Prospect, we spoke about doing a whole show on this. But eventually Revelation became accepted canon, and eventually the book of Jude became accepted canon. Now, this is important, right? Because we accept Apocrypha as being part of the Bible. We accept it. But you have people out there that say that they don't accept the Apocrypha because the Apocrypha is not considered canon. This is what they say. This is how you answer somebody that says that. If you say that you don't accept the Apocrypha as being canon, ask them, do they not know that at one point Revelation and Jude were also not considered to be canon? Canon is based on man. Man decides, okay, this is part of it, this is not part of it. We know by reading the Apocrypha that we know it is 100% a part of the Bible. You know that by reading it. It complements the scriptures 100%. So we know it's inspired, regardless of what some theologians say. And we know why they don't want to accept the Apocrypha, because the Apocrypha is very, 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 very revealing in terms of who Edom is, Esau is. It's also revealing in terms of Esau and Jacob. It gives us a lot of insight into the Romans, so forth and so on. There's a lot of great things in there that you can use. So that's why it's not accepted. We understand that. You understand what I'm saying? So we know that man makes those decisions about what's canon and what's not canon. So we have to kind of be careful of that. But we know where these books come from and the source material that they're drawn from, including the Apocrypha. We can break that stuff down. Like the brother just put in the comment section, when it comes to the book of Enoch, it was found, he said, in the tomb of a monk. So how did Enoch write it? That's a good point. That's why I'm saying that brothers have to do research on this particular modern version of the book of Enoch that we have. It is not the ancient book of Enoch. So we have to be very, very careful. I know some camps use it. I'm saying be careful. I just filter it through, as I always tell y'all, through the advice that my elders gave me. Learn to break down the Bible that we have before I start adding all these other books out there, trying to be deeper than the next man. Oh, okay, well, it's some hidden information in this book and some hidden information in that book, and some of that hidden information is heresy and it's off. Like the pseudepigrapha. This is going way back now. I'm talking about like, I want to say like 97, 98. There was a big argument amongst brothers about the pseudepigrapha, right? I remember myself and Bud Lloyd, we was going at it with some brothers about the pseudepigrapha. You have brothers that used to be in a school that no longer was in a school, but now they know more than the elders, and they started running around with the stupid pseudepigrapha, right? The pseudepigrapha is a whole group of books, like it has the book of infancy and the book of Mary and all these other books. And when you go through that stuff and you start reading it, those books contradict the Bible that we have. It contradicts it. So automatically you should know to throw it away. Especially if you're not rooted. And no brothers reading those books trying to be deeper than the next man, they wound up bugged out of their mind. Now they're not in the truth at all. Because you went beyond the measure that the Most High gave you, instead of just sticking with what the Most High gave you. Continue on what you learn. And stop trying to be deeper than the next dude and you wind up bugged out of your mind. You know what I'm talking about? When you read the Pseudepigrapha, there's a portion in the Pseudepigrapha that says, it goes into the so-called story of Mary that, that's not mentioned in the regular KJV, and it speaks about some angel came and shined a light. The angel shined a light on her stomach, and she got pregnant. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it says. As soon as I read that, I knew this is trash. That goes in the garbage. I'm just saying. So just be careful of these modern books. Stick with the Bible that we have, brothers and sisters. I can't tell you that enough. Stick with the Bible that we have. Learn to rightly divide the scriptures that we already have. It is enough information to have woken up to cause this great awakening of Israel that we see. With just the books that we already have, it's caused this great awakening of Israel that we see. It was enough to wake you up and bring you into the truth. So it's enough. It's enough. The Most High will add, when the Most High sends his son, Yahushua will add all the information that we're missing, that we don't have. That will be added to us at that time. What we have is sufficient to wake our people up. What we have is sufficient to bring our people to repentance. So we just need to stick with what it is that we have and use that. Okay, that's the advice that my elders gave me, and it's some of the best advice I ever got. Now, because I'm an avid researcher, at some point when I became more rooted, did I kind of look into some of the stuff just to see what it was? I looked at it and I realized, okay, this is why the elders said leave it alone, because it's trash. But I didn't go into it right away. It took me years upon years before I even touched that stuff. And I realized, yeah, this is trash, man. I would have wasted my time reading this early. And if I wasn't rooted, maybe this thing could have pulled me out of the truth. I don't know. So I would advise brothers just to stick with the Bible that we have, man. You know what I'm saying? And perfect that. All right. What else? So that shout out to How Music, by the way, brother. I don't know why you're up so early, unless you guys go to work. You kind of up early, man. Shout out to you. That's a good brother. I could use a few more likes, family. Hey, bro, you one of them guys, man, that I'm gonna come back to this video later and see, like, you gonna leave me like a 200, 300 word comment, because you going crazy in the comment boards now. This is what I was talking about. Oh, you're doing overnights 5 days a week? Okay, all praises, man. Well, it's good to have you here. Good to have you joining into the conversation. Yeah, bro. To the other brother, I'm about to. I timed you out before, but I'm about to remove you because you got a little bit. You type it a little bit too much, man. It's only on Eastern Standard Time. It's only 5 in the morning, bro. You can't be typing this many words at 5 in the morning. What's wrong with you? Oh, you do overnight too, brother? Okay, all praises, man. I worked overnight for like. I worked overnight for like 4 months, and that thing nearly killed me, man. I don't know. I shout out. Oh, I got a whole bunch of overnight people here. Okay, you too, huh? I did that thing one time for like 3 or 4 months, and I salute you brothers that are able to do that. I can't do it. Right around that 4 or 5. Okay, well, this is what I can't do it because like right around the time that I'm about to leave work, I get really sleepy, and I'm afraid to drive because that sleep really hits me like if I'm getting off at, like, let's say when I was doing the overnights, I used to get off at 7 in the morning, and I'm telling you, like around 5, I'll be good to like around 5:30. Then that sleep come on me, man. I'm ready to fall asleep, and I don't know how I did it, but that thing was nearly killing me, and I can't sleep in the day. Once the sun is shining, no matter what I'm doing, even if I got the curtains down, whatever, your body's on a certain time. I just couldn't sleep during the day. And I remember before I moved away and I was living in New York, I used to do the overnight shift. That's when I first started. I used to ride the subway and, home. And like clockwork, if you from New York or you ever rode the subways in New York, you can relate to what I'm about to say, man. Yo, bro, I couldn't sit down when I get on the subway. If I was to sit down on the subway, every time that I sat down, I would pass my stop. I'd wake up, I'd fall asleep, and I'd wake up and I'd pass my stop and I'd be cursing. And it didn't happen one time. Every time I sat down, okay, I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm not going to go to sleep. Man, I knock out, I wake up, and I'm like 3-4 train stops past my stop. Now I got to go across the platform and wait to go back. So I stopped sitting down on the train. It's crazy. I don't know how you brothers do it. So to salute to y'all that's doing it, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Hopefully they pay you brothers night differential. Yeah, that. And if you ever rode on the subways in New York, y'all know the trains are loud. Everybody's loud. So for me to be able to fall asleep that heavy and that deep to pass my stop, I have to be tired because it's loud everywhere. The trains are loud. The people are loud. The whole nine. But, man, I passed my stop. No exaggeration, man, about 10 times. You know what I'm saying? So I had to stop sitting there. I could be on an empty train and I still would not sit down because I already know what's going to happen. So I salute you brothers that are able to do that overnight stuff because I can't do it. And I don't even know how I'm doing what I'm doing getting up at 3 in the morning, but it's still better than overnight. Okay, so a brother told you that Enoch is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. See, I don't know. You say it is. I don't know, but I'll tell you what I am going to do. Now you're going to make me research and see. And this is what I will say, though. This is what I will say to you. Let's say peradventure that the book of Enoch is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The next logical step in that now is that, do we have access online? Because the Dead Sea Scrolls are online, right? You can actually access them online. Do we have access to the Dead Sea Scrolls online to compare the book of Enoch that people are using today to see if it matches? That's the first thing. This is where we get into research methodology, which is why I think it's going to fall flat on its face, even if it is in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The first thing is, has anybody done a comparative analysis between what is supposedly in the Dead Sea Scrolls, that's the book of Enoch, and compared it to the book of Enoch that we have today? If I were a betting man, all the Israelites that's running with the book of Enoch have not done that. Second question that I would ask is, do we have a complete copy of the book of Enoch in the Dead Sea Scrolls if it's in there? Because we do realize that the Dead Sea Scrolls is all the scroll is not complete. There are portions of the scroll that are incomplete. So is the book of Enoch complete in the Dead Sea Scrolls? If it is not, that means that whoever did the translation into English had to add stuff in, which then makes it not the word of God. You see this? Do you see the slippery slope that it presents? If I were a wagering or a betting man, I would bet that even if Enoch is in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's not complete. So how do we have a complete version in English? How do we do that? Right. Somebody just said it in the chat. Nothing in the Dead Sea Scrolls is complete. I know that much. I know that much. That, you know what I'm saying, that for the majority, Isaiah may be complete. I got to go back and do it. It's been a while. So some of the stuff I'm winging. I think Isaiah may be complete. I'm not sure. You brothers can correct me if you've done more recent research. I'm about to go back into that a little bit now that we're talking about it. I believe Isaiah may be complete, but outside of that, nah. So how do we have a complete book of Enoch when the Dead Sea Scrolls is not complete itself? You see, this is what I was saying before. This is the problem. We have to ask ourselves these questions about the manuscripts from which these translations come from. Right. Hey, shalom, Masha. Yeah, we have to ask ourselves these questions. Like I said, when we're dealing with the KJV, right, which is the Bible that most of us use as our foundation, we know the source material from which it was translated. When we start getting into Enoch and Jasher and the book of infancy and the book of Mary and the Gospel of Barnabas and all these other add-on books that people want to add on, You have to ask the question about the source material, brothers and sisters. I'm giving y'all good advice. Ask questions and do research about the source material. Just because the Bible mentions Enoch, just because the Bible mentions Jasher, does not mean that the books that we have circulated around today are the books that's mentioned in the Bible. Unless we have complete manuscripts from which it was translated into English. And if we don't have those, I would advise you, brothers and sisters, stay away from those books. Exactly. Right, Revelations 2 and 2. Exactly, 100%. So what you said, okay, the comments disappear. That's what one thing I hate about this stupid app. When nobody's commenting, somebody said something I wanted to read, but now I can't see it no more. Next time somebody comments, it'll come back. But anyway, me personally, like I don't. So Gedalia, man, that's something that you and I know you like to have these type of conversations. How music? That's something that you and I we can do a little more research together on that, right? We're gonna, exactly, right, okay. So I know that it is a true book. Well, see, okay, I see the comment now, right? You say that the Bible is broken up. I don't deny that. I don't deny that, right? I don't deny that the Bible was broken up, and it was because even when the translators were translating the Bible that we had, they translated from limited resources. Because remember, the Pope was against them translating the Bible at all. So they had very limited resources. That's why when you study the translation of the KJV that we have, you do realize that a lot of William Tyndale's work, William Tyndale did a complete translation, if I'm not mistaken, of the New Testament. He's one of the first people to do that. And the KJV retains a lot of William Tyndale's work. If you have the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary, that's right in there. A lot of y'all never even read it. If you go into the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, when it starts breaking down the KJV and its translation, it'll tell you that the KJV retains a lot of William Tyndale's work today. All right? So, like I said, we know the source material that they were using, the manuscripts, so forth and so on, but they were working with limited resources at the time that they were translating this, right? So, I'm just looking at some of the comments that kind of threw me off. So, we know the source material that they were using. We do know, of course, that the Roman Catholic Church is holding back a lot of our records, a lot of our information, the Smithsonian and others. Nobody denies that, right? But again, it's not enough for us just to take an English version of a book that we do know exists, like Jasher, like Enoch. We do know those books exist. It's not enough for us just to take the first English version that we see somewhere in a bookstore and buy it and say that this is the word of God. And you yourself just admitted in a comment that there are bones in there. And you know what the bones are? The bones are the stuff that was added in because they didn't have the original manuscript. So they had to add stuff in. That's why I'm saying don't use it, because the bone is what may throw somebody sincere off. I've seen it happen. Like I said, brothers ran into the pseudepigrapha. They couldn't break down the Bible that we have, started dealing with the pseudepigrapha, which has all types of bones in there, and then they went off because they believed the stuff that was added in was true, or the stuff that the person that translated added in and made up was true. And it wasn't. That's why we should stick with the Bible. Just stick with the Bible. Filter everything that you read through the Bible that we have. That's the only advice I could give you, brothers and sisters. I mean, if you're gonna do what you're gonna do, right? Can't nobody stop you, brothers and sisters, from, you know, the internet is an open source. So you brothers and sisters are gonna do what you're gonna do. But remember, I warned you, because, you know, some of you brothers and sisters are not strong enough to go into some of these things, and you're going to go off. You're gonna go off. You have to understand that the way that a lot of these books are compiled, right? Even Josephus. A lot of us promote the works of Josephus and stuff like that, the historian. Even in Josephus, there are interpolations in there, and there's bones in there too. There are later interpolations in there, meaning some of the stuff that you read about in Josephus didn't write that. You had Christian people that came later that added to what Josephus wrote. They added their own interpolations, added their own spin on stuff, and all that. So even when you go into Josephus, you cannot take everything for face value. That's why you filter everything through the Bible. Once you start getting into these extra biblical sources and all the other stuff that's outside the Bible, you must filter the information through the Bible. And if it doesn't line up with the Bible, put it down. That's the best advice I could give you. Because it just seems to me that everybody wants to out information everybody else. Instead of just studying information organically over a period of time and really learning and retaining information, it seems like everybody's in a race to out information everybody else. You've been in the truth 3 or 4 years, but you want to be deeper than brothers that have been around for 30 years. Like, that's what I see nowadays. Everybody's trying to outdo or out whatever everybody else. That's not what this work is. The Bible says the race is not to the swift. It's not about outpacing or outdoing everybody. Sincerely and organically learn this information, and the Most High will lead you down the right path. Like the brother says, people can't even break down the basic commandments or things in the Bible. People are still tripping to this day about the writings of Paul. People are still thinking that Paul is teaching don't keep holy days, don't keep commandments, you could eat whatever you want. They can't even understand what Paul is writing, but they want to go get Barnabas and Enoch and this and that and all that. Why? That's the problem. But like I said, the internet is an open source. So for some people, you're just going to do what you're going to do. I pray for you brothers and sisters that's doing what, doing those sort of things, that the Most High keep you in this way and lead you down the right path, that you don't get tripped up off basic stuff. Because it's really not that serious. Like the brother just posted the scripture, and it says, the whole duty of man is to fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Right? That's the whole duty of man. Be faithful in keeping the Most High's commandments in the small things. The Most High trust the small. That's why Christ told the Pharisees, Yahushua told the Pharisees, that they swallow a camel and they strain at a gnat. Right? A lot of our people in this way of life, they want to digest all this deep information, but the basic stuff, the basic principles, they can't master those things, which are the fruits of the Spirit that we read about in the New Testament. In the book of Galatians, we read about the fruits of the Spirit and the works of the flesh, right? We can't master those things, but we want to be deep. That's how the Pharisees were. That was Christ's, Yahushua's problem with the Pharisees, that they say and do not. The small things. It was nothing for them to wear their fringes and their garments, because that was part of our custom and our culture. It was nothing for them to keep holy days. That was part of our custom and our culture. But they was keeping these holy days and wearing the fringes, but having malice towards each other, hatred towards each other, variance towards each other, perverting judgment. People could buy you off as a priest. Well, they pay you off, and then you don't execute right judgment according to the Bible. Respect of persons. That's what the Pharisees had. Like the woman that was caught in the act of adultery. People don't understand the reason why Yahushua forgave her was because what? It takes two to commit adultery, not one. Why did the Pharisees only bring the woman and not the man? Why not? Because they were hypocrites. That's why. They were hypocrites. So these are the things that we need to focus on. And if you're faithful in these small things, you'll be great in the kingdom. Not if you are the deepest person and you know Enoch, you know Jasher, you know this, you know that, you know, no. Because if you're looking for information, you're looking for information to sincerely teach your people, not to out information somebody else. That's what you're researching for. Not to be the deepest person in the room. Sometimes the deepest and smartest person in the room don't say nothing. You won't even know. Just like somebody could be a third-degree black belt, right? But you wouldn't even know because you wouldn't even know. Some of the greatest fighters and warriors are some of the most humble people because they already know what they could do if you get them started, right? The same thing with wise people. Some people have so much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that they have to tone it down. You wouldn't know. Because this truth is about being humble. The scriptures tell us in the book of Psalms and also in the book of Isaiah that the Most High said he requires a broken and contrite spirit. That's the spirit that we have to have. Above being the deepest person in the room and looking for all types of hit. The Bible that we have is sufficient to wake our people up. The Bible that we have today is sufficient to teach our people salvation and for us to inherit the kingdom. We don't need to be adding all these other so-called lost books of the Bible to the mix. For what? It's not necessary. And I do want brothers to understand that there is a difference between reading books that deal with history and reading all these so-called lost books of the Bible. What is the difference? What is the difference? Well, here's the difference. You cannot break down Daniel, the 2nd chapter, or Daniel, the 7th chapter. You cannot break down 2nd Ezra when he talks about the 12 feathers. You cannot break those chapters down without history books, because when it speaks about the different feathers, those are different Caesars that came into power at different times, right? So you're going to have to go into a history book to put names to those Caesars. You'll have to go into a history book to put names to those different kingdoms that Daniel saw rising up. So you have to go into extra biblical sources to put names to these kings. You understand what I'm saying? That's one thing. But those extra biblical sources still have to go through the Bible. They have to be filtered through the Bible. You got to do the same thing with these so-called lost books of the Bible. You can't be reading Enoch and there's something in there that contradicts the Bible that we have, and you're going to keep them both. It doesn't work like that. Well, at least for me, it doesn't work like that. So I think we beat that subject into the ground enough. What else you guys want to talk about? I mean, hey, bro, if that's how you feel, and that's how you feel, right? Luke wrote the book of Acts. That just requires a basic Google search. You can get that. Luke wrote the book of Acts. Yeah. Ezekiel 37 is pretty, I mean, yeah, I guess, but Ezekiel 7 is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty straightforward breakdown, but yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward breakdown. So, um, yeah, we could go through Ezekiel 37 to Ezekiel 40 at some point. Yeah, mainly though, the thing is, like I say, man, I do these for Sabbath classes amongst brothers. I rarely bring my Sabbath classes online. Uh, some point maybe I'll come on the channel and see. The thing is that this particular channel is not a classroom. I keep having to remind people, Maccabeestv was never created for me to do whole classes on here all the time. I have my own YouTube channel for that. This was a channel that was created when we had the whole canon trial thing to give certain brothers that did not want to go. At the time we were being disrespected by I'm just gonna say it. We were being disrespected mainly by Brother Polite. We were being disrespected that he said that he was our God. He's the Israelites' God because we're always running to them, to their platform, whatever like that. Now, Sonetta will tell you, he always calls me and asks me to come on his platform. Like, we don't go over there like begging to be on a platform. He wants us to come on because he wants us to share information, and we appreciate him opening up his platform for us. But at the same time, when he was saying that, we got together, those of us that was on a team, on a team together during the Cameron trial thing, and we said we need a platform of our own so that we don't, at the time he was talking kind of reckless and we wasn't feeling it. So we need a platform of our own to do this, right? That we could go to should we need to get our message out. So we had the whole Cameron trial thing that went down, and after Cameron trial went down, everybody abandoned this channel. I'm just gonna call it like it is. Everybody abandoned this channel, right? And this dude was still talking reckless afterwards, still talking reckless and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, the name Maccabeestv, that Hashar came up with that, not me. Hashar named the channel. Shout out to General Hashar. He named the channel, not me. So, like, nobody was putting no content on this channel. If you go back to the very beginning of this channel, you'll see whole months go by, no content, right? So one day this dude was just talking too much for me, taking too many slights for me, that I told brothers, I said, I'm going to take the channel over and I'm going to control the channel. And basically what it is that I'm going to build the channel, the subscribership and everything up myself. When I inherited this channel, there was only 500 subscribers on the channel, just 500. That was it. And we weren't putting videos up pretty much at all. And the ones we were putting up were trash. Today, I'm approaching 17,000 subscribers. So 16,500 is through my works. This was supposed to be all of our channel, but it's through my works. Why the channel is what it is. That's why you guys see me bringing guests on. I don't bring guests on all the time, but that's why you see me bringing guests on and stuff like that, because that's really what this channel was supposed to be. It was never supposed to be my channel to do my own breakdowns and promote. That's why you don't see me promoting my camp on this channel. Y'all notice that? I'm very fair. I let everybody on here, you know what I'm saying? And everybody promotes, does whatever. Like, I don't treat this like my channel. Y'all, it's not by accident. I promote my camp on my channel. When I'm over here, this is Maccabeestv. It's for the Israelite community. Even sometimes I have people on that I don't agree with. I'll have them on. And I get all those calls, why'd you have this one on, why'd you have that one on? I'm explaining to you why now, in case you didn't know. And I'm going to say this more often and bring the story up more often, because I see that people are forgetting. I never told nobody this was my channel to be teaching. I have my own channel for that. This was supposed to be for the Israelite community. That's why I bring different guests on. And sometimes I don't agree with it. I got some guests coming on soon that I don't agree with them at all. And we might get into it. But that's what this channel is for, to give us a place to go to talk our stuff out, where we don't always have to go to outside platforms to talk through our stuff. That's what this is for. So that's why you don't always see me coming on here with classes and stuff like that. Mainly I do my classes amongst my camp. Some of those classes I'll throw on my channel and stuff like that, but I don't use this platform for that. Y'all have seen me do some breakdowns lately because those heresies just needed to be addressed. Those heresies just needed to be addressed. And there's a few more that I'm going to deal with soon too, because this whole thing, I was laughing. I was going through this whole thing about when Paul said he was separated from his mother's womb. That doctrine, I'm going to cut that next. That's getting cut next. That's getting cut next. So that's why I don't come on here with all my own stuff. I don't promote myself or my camp on this channel because I'm trying to keep it as a universal platform for everybody. But I took it under my control because I built it up from 500 subscribers to what it is today. That's why. And also because with all due respect, no disrespect, Gabar brought a video, when everybody had access and the password that was on the Kevin on trial team, Gabar was bringing people on this channel that did not belong here. With that God loves everybody, the laws are done away with crap. That's why that y'all know what video I'm talking about. That's why that video was on here. Y'all already saw it, which is the only reason why I haven't deleted it. But once I saw him do that crap, that's when I changed the password, because you didn't do the work to build this channel up. Why are you bringing people on the channel that's teaching our people to not keep the commandments? That's a no-no. But this is not my channel to promote myself. That's why I don't. If y'all want the lessons and stuff like that, get in class, get in our classes, or I'll start putting them back up on my other channel. Every now and then I will do a class on here. I will give y'all PowerPoints and stuff. I'll give y'all that. But like whole classes of breaking down whole chapters and stuff like that, I'm not really going to do a lot of that here on this channel because that's not the intent of this channel. I hope I'm clear, because people I've got love for my brother, but one particular brother called me and said, "Oh, you did a whole show and you didn't bring out no scriptures because I never told you that this was a classroom video, a channel. I never told nobody that. You assumed." So now we're clear. This is not a classroom channel. This is a channel for Israelites to come on. I'll do interviews. I'll come on here. I'll talk about current events, whatever. Just like Sonetta does on his platform. That's the intent of this platform. It's a fallback that if you don't want to go over there, or you can't go over there, you could come over here, or you could go see my brother. Shout out to Abaya and Inside the Nation. You can go over there because he's doing it over on his platform as well. Shout out to him. That is the intent of his platform. So hope I'm clear. I don't want no more. Brother, you was on and you had this brother on, and y'all were just talking. You didn't go do a whole breakdown of a chapter. That's not what this channel is. All right. All right. Time is winding up, family. What else y'all want to talk about before I go? I've already been on over 2 hours, but it's all good. The name of my channel is called, well, we have a few, right? If you want to see, I'm going to be putting up a lot of videos this week on my other channel. The name of my channel is called Priest Danyaahla, just like my name, Uncut. Priest Danyaahla Uncut. That's my channel. I haven't uploaded anything over there in a while either. I've been moving around. We have a bunch of channels, but that's where I'm going to start uploading some more of the full classes. Not all of them, but some more of the full classes are going to go over there. There's already videos over there that the majority of you probably never watched or never saw. We used to have another channel called Long Live Yahushua. We have a lot of lessons on there, but I don't use that channel as much anymore. So Priest Danyaahla Uncut is going to be where I'm going to be putting a lot of those full videos. Like if y'all want the full breakdown, like I'm getting ready to do something on Romans, the 9th chapter, because the Christian apologists are using that. So we're going to go through the whole chapter of Romans chapter 9, right? I'm going to really like go in depth into it, okay? So y'all can look for that. That's probably going to be on the other channel, Priest Danyaahla Uncut. I'm going to work on that. That's my goal this week, to do that PowerPoint from start to finish. I'm not going to just start it and put it down. I'm going to do it from start to finish, and I'll probably upload that video over there on that channel. It's Priest Danyaahla Uncut. I'll let y'all know when it's up for those of y'all that want to see it. But yeah, this channel is not for that. So if y'all see me on here and I'm just I'm just, for lack of a better word, I'm just shooting the shit like I'm doing now, or I'm interviewing somebody, or you see a music video every now and then, or I'm talking about current events. That's what this channel is for. That's it. All right. So hope everybody's clear on that. What else? Anybody else with anything? Your guess is as good as mine, bro. I don't know. You know, it used to bother me a little bit when people banged on the camps. It used to bother me. Notice I said used to. It doesn't bother me no more. It used to bother me. It doesn't bother me anymore. Here's the reason why it doesn't bother me anymore. There's no such thing as a broad paintbrush where you could paint every camp the same. There's not. I have been a part of camps and organizations where, in my early days, where I was mistreated. I tell y'all that all the time. I was mistreated. I felt like I was done wrong and all that. That stuff happened to me. So, I had two choices. I could be bitter about it for the rest of my life and bad talk. Like now my experience translates to it's the same everywhere, right? Which is BS. Or I could be the change in Israel that I wanted to see. That when I got in a position of being a camp leader, that I would not do to men what was done to me. Those are my two choices. So myself and Bun Lawyer, we chose the latter. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that was done to both of us that happened, but we said that when we founded Lions of Israel, right, we would do things differently that we felt that was done wrong to us. And I have brothers that are in my camp that made an oath to themselves that because of things that happened to them, they would never join another camp, and they're in my camp today. Why? Because when they come here, number one, first and foremost, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the truth. You are a man. So I'm going to treat you like a man. I'm going to talk to you like a man. And I'm going to talk to you with respect. And that's number one. And that's something that wasn't always done to me. But it's something that I said that I will not do that to men that's coming up under me. You understand what I'm saying? So when I hear all these horror stories about different things that happen to different people in camps, that were in camps that they were in, I'm sorry that that happened to them, and things happened to me too. But here's what I know. There's no such thing as all camps is doing this. No, because it's just not true. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been around going on almost 30 years, right? I'm approaching 30 years soon. You have never heard of any scandals on my name ever in Israel where I committed adultery with nobody's wife. You've never heard it, ever. So I don't want to hear nothing about no all camps, because I don't roll like that. You've never heard of me stealing money. Never. In almost 30 years, never. I could say these things because I boast in it because I pride myself on that. You've never heard it. As a matter of fact, when I set my camp up, my personal opinion is for the camp leader to be part of the treasury is a conflict of interest. That always ends bad. Because as soon as your bills start, you having problems with your bills, you start dipping into the camp monies that's not for you. So how did I avoid that? I set up a treasurer that's not me. So that nobody could ever say I stole money. You understand what I'm saying? So when I hear all the stuff about people taking people's money and everything, all the camps, nope, not mine. You never heard that. So what am I saying is, no, yeah, these people just make broad statements because they had a bad experience. Sorry that they had it, but no, it's not everybody. It's not everybody. So I don't know why they do that. Instead of them just trying to do things right, if you see something wrong, then you do it right. Just like the people that come on the comment boards and say, oh, you don't do this, then I go to your page to see what you're doing. Oh, when you're in the street, you should have said that. Okay, so I go to see if you're in the street, what did you say? And 9 times out of 10, you ain't doing a damn thing. You ain't teaching nothing. You have no videos on your channel. You don't go on the streets. So you can't tell me nothing. So if you see something wrong, oh, there you go, bro. Yeah, email me again, bro. Put it in the the message, the subject, put in the box that says subject, put VCR, man. I was just talking about you like an hour ago. All praise to the Most High. My bad, brother. I didn't see the email. So I'm sorry about that, bro, because I was just talking about it earlier. All praise to the Most High. I'm gonna be looking for that join today, man. So if you can email me today, email me today. And thanks in advance, bro. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be good for everybody because I can get some of these old videos out here. But back to what I was saying. It's not everybody. And I know other good leaders in Israel too. It ain't just me. It's others. I know other reputable leaders, some of them going back as far as me and some of them new. I see some great new young leaders coming up, like my man Tawab Aman that's in the chat, go by the name of Jimmy Nichols. He's a deacon in the organization Israelite Saints of Christ. Those brothers are doing a great job, man. I see what them brothers is doing. They're doing a great job. I see my man Mashar, Holy Saints and Apostles, man. That brother's out here putting in work, man, in the community, like grassroots work. I see that, bro. I got to bring him on here so he can talk about all the things that this brother's doing. He's doing grassroots work and doing great jobs and raising brothers and sisters up, man, doing a great job. It's not everybody. Even though they say it's everybody, it's not everybody. So I no longer get offended at that because it's not me. You see what I'm saying? So what's the old saying? If it don't apply, let it fly. So why do they be hating on camps? Because they had a bad experience and they just stopped there. It just was over there. Like we're all bad now. You know, whatever. I looked at it like, you know what? I'm going to set up a place that if you have a bad experience over there, you can come over here and you'll have a better experience. If you so choose. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not offended at that whole camp banging thing and stuff like that. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. And I'm going to be matter of fact, and some people may not like what I'm going to say, but it's the truth. The Great Awakening is happening because of the camps. Because the camps are the most visible people in Israel for the world to see. The camps are the first people that people see. So when Ice Cube is posting about whatever he's posting, you know, with some truth in there about the Israelites, it's because he saw the camps. Whether you like it or not. Kendrick Lamar, you name it. Nick Cannon, whoever said something about Israelites, they saw the camps. That's just it's the truth. Oh, I'm gonna kill her, man. Oh, come on. This is one of my co-workers right here driving this big behind truck. And I see a free parking spot getting ready to come. And she gonna block my vision. Hold on, let me back up. Give me 1 second, y'all. She about to make me miss out on the free parking. Little short female driving this big behind truck. And she could barely park. See, that Jeep is getting ready to move. I'm trying to get that right there. He coming out. There you go. Damn right. Y'all don't know, man. It be don't come back, man. All right. All right. Yeah. Sorry, I done lost my train of thought now. Trying to get up on this free parking spot, save myself $5. Free parking. Okay. Yeah, so I don't get offended by this whole thing with the camps and all this other stuff and stuff. It's not me, right? Is there messed up stuff that's going on with some camps? Yes. Of course there is. You know what I'm saying? And but just make sure it's not you. That's the best advice I can give anybody. Make sure it's not you. And when you join in any organization, I've said it so many times. When you're joining any organization, treat it like a marriage. What do I mean by that? It's a betrothal. Like when people come and say they want to join Lions of Israel, the first thing that we tell them is that this is like a betrothal, man. Yeah, it takes 6 months to join our camp. Just so y'all brothers know, right? And sisters, it takes 6 months to join our camp, right? Now, I always tell people, don't get offended at that. Like it's you. It's not just we're doing that to you. It's not just that we're testing your spirit. You're supposed to be testing ours too. To make sure that what we're doing and what we're saying and the way we conduct ourselves is compatible with your spirit. You shouldn't just see brothers on the internet be like, oh, I like the way that looks. I like the way that brother sounds. I want to join. You don't know those brothers. You don't know those brothers. And that's where a lot of the problems come in. You see something flashy and nice, or someone real eloquent and well-spoken on the internet, and you just want to jump in, and then you get in and realize it's not what you thought. Just like a lot of you brothers and sisters do with your partners in marriage. It's the same thing. You jump in and then realize it's not what you thought. So one of the best ways to avoid it, although it's not a foolproof way, one of the best ways to avoid it, right, is to, before you join any organization, any camp, anything, take some time, take 6 months or whatever it is, and really get to know those brothers and those sisters as a part of that body, and make sure that it's a fit for you. And you can save yourself a lot of problems. And then half of these horror stories that we hear in Israel about, you was a part of this camp, he's about a part of that camp, and they did this, and this one did that. Half of those horror stories you won't hear if you took time to really analyze what it is you're getting into before you get into it. Just like the same thing is true if more of you brothers and sisters would do that before you get married. Half the marriage counseling that I've had to do over the years and everything I wouldn't have had to done if brothers and sisters would have been betrothed and took some time to get to know each other before they just jumped in and were like, okay, he looked good, she looked good. They lay down and they realized they don't like each other. That's the stuff that was done in the world. We all did that in the world. You come into Israel, we're supposed to be new creatures. That's what we say. How are you a new creature if you look at a woman and you just jump into bed with her because she look good? You're not a new creature. Because 8 out of 10 times you're going to realize after a while you don't like her, but you're stuck. Same thing with you sisters. You're not operating like a new creature if you just jump into everything. And that goes for not just sleeping with somebody, but it goes for what body, what organization, who you're fellowshipping with. The same principle applies. We could cut down on half the problems. I'm not looking, and because I know people get all hung up on words. Me personally, Lions of Israel, us personally, we actually like being a small camp. We keep it that way on purpose. We could have had way more people in the camp. But you know how we alleviate people in the camp? It's simple. We have a code of ethics book. That you want to join the camp, we hand you a copy of the code of ethics book. I haven't handed some of the new members their copy lately, but for certain reasons. But people that I really don't know like that come up, I hand you the code of ethics book. Do you know why? Do you know how many people have looked at our code of ethics books and is like, you know what, forget it. I'm telling you. Literally, a story's coming to mind. One particular brother came, it was 2 brothers, they came and was like, we want to join your camp. And we looked around and we knew that those brothers were not a fit for us. The spirit that was rolling in, but we knew exactly, it's just like raid. We knew exactly what was gonna get the job done. We said, okay, here's what you do, right? Take this code of ethics book home and read it and come back next week and tell us if you want to join the camp. They came back next week and was like, forget it. It was like, Khan, Kawada. You know what I'm saying? The code of ethics book weeded them right out. All praise to the Most High. Because we want people that know what you're getting into. And it's nothing crazy in there. It's just that we want order. There's certain things that we want, and we do things a certain way. And we're all accountable to each other. So if you're going to be a loose cannon, you're not a good fit for us. And that's pretty much what this brother was. We saw the spirit before we ever handed him the book. So once he saw in the book that he wasn't going to be a loose cannon and an individualite that happened to be part of a camp, but in your mind you're still an individualite. Once he saw that, he didn't want nothing to do with it, which is cool. And you have to prove, brothers, before you let them in your camp, and you brothers and sisters have to prove the camp before you join. And that will cut down on some of the problems that's happening in Israel. Treat it just like you would a marriage. All right, but some brothers and sisters don't do that, and that's the reason why you get into something and you realize it's not what you thought. Now, all of whatever happened to you in that camp, now we're all doing it. Oh, you guys are all taking money. Really? If I'm taking money, explain to me why it is I got to work 2 jobs. I know I don't do it because I like it. I know I don't get up at 3 in the morning to drive into work because I like it. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like the Apostle Paul said, man, I don't want nobody to charge me for nothing to say that you helped me do nothing. That's why I work. That's why it works. I don't want nobody to be saying, hey, man, we gave you, nope. We took care of you. Nope. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I work for everything that I have. One retarded nigga in Brooklyn, I did my music video Set Apart, right? I did that video when we had the Israelite Summit in Florida. This is freaking Florida, for God's sakes, family. Not Tahiti, not Hawaii or some whatever exotic place you could think of. I did a goodness gracious video in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Like, who the hell hasn't been to Florida? I did the video there. This retarded Negro made a video on YouTube and said that I was stealing from my congregation to go on an exotic vacation to Fort Lauderdale? Huh? What? Everybody in the camp was laughing. They was like, yo, dude, you work 2 jobs. I'm like, everybody see, I'm driving to work 3 in the morning. Everybody see, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Then y'all sometimes see me going live from my other job. What? And nigga said I took money from my congregation to go on an exotic trip. I took an exotic trip to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Mika live in Florida. Oh snap! Yo, some of you niggas is crazy, man. You're crazy. You can't put that on for me. You can make stuff up. Somebody could always make stuff. You can't put that stuff off. I mean, I take pride in that. So no, we're not all the same. We're not all doing the same stuff. I don't know why people say that, but that's on them. You know, whatever. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you have a problem with what you see in Israel, then do better. Yeah, exactly. Brother said Fort Lauderdale is the Bronx with palm tree. Yeah, I'm going to take that. That's fire. I'm going to take that. That's fire. Yeah, your boy, old boy said, I took an exotic trip. Oh, I didn't even, you know what? The scriptures say, ants are not a fool. That statement was so effing stupid that I said it doesn't even make sense. Like the brother said, the freaking Fort Lauderdale is the Bronx. Half of New York, especially the Puerto Ricans, all down in Florida, man. What are you talking about? Dudes is crazy. I have not, listen, I'm not ashamed. I have never been on an exotic vacation. How about that? Never. I think the best trip I ever took years ago was to Las Vegas, and that's not exotic. I went to Grenada to see Patrick Delves. That wasn't exotic. Patrick lived in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Patrick lives in the hood. You ain't going on no exotic vacation. Are you crazy? I mean, I would like to. It'd be nice. But I've never been. And with this whole COVID-19, I probably never will go. And in doing this work, I don't have time to take no exotic vacation because when I'm traveling, I'm supposed to be doing the work, man. You know what I'm talking about? So I went down to the summit and I found a nice location to shoot the video, which is what we did, because there are palm trees there, but it's still Fort Lauderdale, man. But it just happened to be a nice beach, which is why we shot the video there. It looked nice. It looks nice. But, you know, it's Fort Lauderdale, for God's sake. But that's how quickly disinformation can spread. But I laugh at it because you can't, and I say this like I said, I take pride in this. There's wicked pride, and there's things that you could take pride in that's righteous. I take pride in y'all don't hear no mud on my name in Israel. So I don't want to hear all the stuff about everybody's doing the same thing. It's a lie. It's a lie. None of you people that meet me in person, whenever I come to these summits or wherever, none of you guys can ever say that I walk around like I'm better than you. I greet everybody the same. Everybody that wants a picture, I take a picture. Everybody that wants to shake my hand and talk. Some of you dudes talk my ear off. I stop to talk to you, and then you want me to have one of these conversations with you for like an hour, and I try to accommodate you the best I can, but I always show love. You know what I'm saying? To everybody. So none of that stuff is out there. So I don't want to hear nothing about everybody, all camps are the same. That's a lie. Sorry you made the wrong decision. If you join anything else, make a better decision. That's all. Make a better decision. And you'll be better off for it. You know what I'm talking about? All right, family, I am about to get out of here now. I could go for a few more minutes. I've already been on this long, right? going for a few more minutes. What else? Right. All camps are not the same. And there's good brothers in every camp. There's righteous, good brothers in every camp, and there's wicked brothers in every camp too. Right? That's what it is. What else, y'all? What else? What else? Yeah, don't worry about the don't worry about the people that's that hate on the works that the camps are doing. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is using it. The Bible says man's goings is of the Lord. How then could a man understand his own ways? If you see the camps out here, the Most High got them out here for a purpose. Everything is for the Lord's purpose. Okay. Somebody asked about the debate last night. There's no debate scheduled for last night. Let me be clear about that. There's no debate scheduled for last night. Now, I don't want to say too much without talking to these brothers first. Oh, Tashaka said I plugged you with AOC Chicago. All praises. All praises. So Moshe the Hebrew, you said a lot of camps do. That's true, but not all. So you have to. That's what the proving process is for. That's what I'm trying to say. If you before you join any camp or any congregation or any church, whatever you want to call it, you go through a proving process and check them brothers out. Don't just join because it might look good, it might sound good. Yeah, check it out. If they have self-serving purposes or motives like what you say, you should see it within 6 months. You should see it. It'll manifest itself. And then you just don't join that organization. That's all. You look for something else. Okay, so no. Tashaka, I'm gonna speak on that real quick, right? There was no debate scheduled for yesterday. Now, Jeremiah and Quanath have been asking me to come on the show since last week. Quanath called me last night, but I had went to sleep. I ain't gonna hold you. I was tired. I'm gonna call Quanath today, right? First of all, I'm gonna call Quanath today, right? And we're gonna have a conversation, and possibly I'll bring them on the show. But I have to talk to them brothers first, because this is what I'm gonna say, and it's not really so much Quanath as it is Jeremiah. Like, this is not gonna turn into a show where I bring you on. First of all, I don't agree with you. They all know. So it's no secret. I don't agree with them. Okay, that's number one. But you're not going to come on the show and you're not going to disrespect nobody. You're not going to disrespect no Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, not on my show. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. I have those brothers in my camp. Those are my brothers. That's not going to happen. So we have to come to some understanding of how this is going to work before you come on the show. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be making ad hominem or disrespectful comments about the other brother that came on with Jeremiah, the brother that was using a whiteboard and writing on the whiteboard. I know that he has some conflict with those brothers. I don't want them coming on the show bashing them, because when Jeremiah was on my show, he didn't take no personal attacks against nobody. He didn't make no personal attacks. It was all about the debate, and the judges said he won the debate, and he kept it about the debate. So if these brothers are coming on, we're going to keep it on the subject of the debate. Ain't going to be no personal attacks. And it's unfortunate, but I got to talk to these brothers first before I bring them on, because I already saw the flyer. Jeremiah Judah made a flyer, and I look at the flyer. It was like 10 people on the flyer. I'm like, I'm not having 10 people on the show. It might be 2 or 3 max. That's it. That's it. So I'm going to call Quanath today. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give them their fair shake, because they did ask me for a fair shake. I'm going to give them their fair shake to come on and say what they got to say. I think it's already clear I don't agree with what they're saying, obviously. But whatever. Like, this thing where, whatever. Like I said, the channel is for Israel. These are discussions that we as Israelites have to have to a degree. There was a debate that took place. They feel like the judges, did not judge the debate fairly. That's that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to possibly bring those brothers on as long as they agree to my terms. And my terms is not for them to agree with what I'm saying. My terms is just don't come on and disrespect nobody else. That's what I'm saying. Don't come on, talk about nobody's personal life. No, none of that stuff. Just keep it to the topic of the scriptures and the history that you disagree with brothers about. And I have no problems. But I don't want it to turn into a shit show. So I'm going to to answer your question, I'm going to contact them today. And then you might, we'll go from there. You might see these brothers on later on tonight. Maybe we'll see what happens. All right. I don't know. Until I talk to Quanaf, I don't know. Maybe today. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know what his schedule looks like. I don't know what Jeremiah's schedule looks like. So we'll see. But first of all, we have to agree to it being respectful. All right. Things got a little out of hand when Mahar Khan and him was on the show, and I caught a lot of feedback behind that. People said I shouldn't have had them on together and blah, 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 and blah, 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 whatever. But like I said, this platform is for people to talk about things, and you're not going to agree with everything that you hear and see. I never told nobody that. I don't agree. I myself don't agree with it, but because I don't treat this platform like it's mine, I'm going to have sometimes people on that I don't agree with myself. So that's possibly going to happen. I'm going to call Quanaf later on. So I did see that he called me last night, and I was sleeping. All right. I guess that's it, family. So what time is it? 6:15? Yeah, I better act like I got some work to do. I'm about to sign off in another 2 or 3 minutes, so if anybody has anything else, while I'm putting my sweater on, now is the time for you to ask it, because I'm about to sign off in a minute. If you haven't already hit the like button, feel free. Doesn't cost you nothing. All right, then. So y'all wishing me blessings and peace, so I guess y'all good. Y'all got over almost 3 hours, right? 6, 12, 18. Yup, in another 7 minutes, I would have been on here with y'all for 3 hours. God damn. And I don't even have no water here in my car either, so that was pretty good. All right. Shout out to Sisters of the Maccabees. Why are you awake? Tawab shalom to you. Nah, family, don't worry. The beauty about being they say I pay the cost. You pay the cost to be the boss, right? So I put my time in. So the beauty about being the boss here is that when I start getting sleepy, I can go someplace and take a nap. That's the beauty of being the boss. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. As soon as I do my little work, I'm going to find a corner and go to sleep for a little while. All right, family. So I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try to keep it going. Y'all pray for me, man. Pray for me. Pray for me. Pray that the Most High bless me, man, in some way, shape, or form, where I can totally dedicate all my time to teaching, because that's my first love, is to teaching. And I could be so much more. I think I could be so much more efficient and helpful with my people if I was always able to teach. So just pray for me, man, that the Most High open the door. I don't know, man, I find a damn suitcase on the side of a road with, know what I'm saying, $1 million into the something, I don't know. Just pray for me, man. And I definitely will put a lot of that back into this, back into Israel. You know, help me pay off a few bills and stuff, and put a couple of dollars into my business so I can just work for myself and teach the word. Just pray for me that the Most High open up a door for me, man. You know, that's it. Peace and love, family. I am out of here. Who knows? Maybe I might come back later on from home, and I don't know if I'm gonna have a guest on today or if I'm gonna just come back and just, you know, give y'all some information where I can show y'all stuff instead of just rambling on for 3 hours. I don't know. We'll see how the Spirit leads. All right, but peace and blessings.